Irish children making music. Yes, baby, yes. Thank you very much, MFG Live, for the sign 5th month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, everybody. This Wednesday will now feel like a Friday. Thanks to your good old boy. Let's fucking go, Ireland in the motherfucking building. Least based Irish children, more based than the most based American adult. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all the beautiful, beautiful early birds. We will be starting in exactly 3 minutes. Enjoy the deprogrammed song as you sit in your beautiful, beautiful butts and get ready to feel like it's a Friday. Immediately thank you to the legendary sugar-coated babe, coated to say, for the gifted sub. Welcome, 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 and thank you Romka Techno Landing for the 100 beats. Just open a bottle of vino and lit up some Zaza and you will start to stream. Now that sounds like a Wednesday. That's gonna feel like a Friday, and already we got that choo-choo train going. Are we going to get into choo-choo trains big enough for them to fly up in the sky and land right on the Israeli leadership's house? We shall find out. Stream starting in 2 minutes. Welcome everybody. Open up your favorite can of whatever. Sit in your beautiful, beautiful butts and get ready for a nice hangout sesh as we whip out our schlongs or the third hole and piss all over our least favorite right-wing chuds. And maybe along the way we even learn something. You never know. You're on the stream, so it's not very likely, but still, one can hope. Okie dokie. To a great leader, Xi Jinping, the anonymous gifter for the community sub. Later we shall dance to the great Chinese CCPP songs. And thank you Screamo Wheat for the resub. I'm so very tired, but it is stream time. I hope you like all the new emojis. Mostly thanks to Figgy, the new Pokemon, the new mod, the new OG. In a different life, I was the typical Bakan DJ talking over all the songs, annoying everybody, but hey, now I'm even more annoying. I'm on fucking Twitch. Welcome everybody to yet another experience with your good old boy, Yugopnik, Yugo something. Today we are having a very, very horrible hair day. Why? Because there is no warm water in my entire neighborhood, and there is not going to be any water until today. The only thing I did is splash under my armpits and wash myself the old school way with a bit of soap and scrub downs, because I am a coward who cannot cannot survive even the tiniest splash of cold water, no matter how many times they tell me it is healthy. I'm wearing a very bougie hat. It's green, it's nice, it's got a little bear, but it says polo. I never played polo. I never will. But still, thank you and welcome to all the OGs that are always here even before chat starts. Carl Vinger, Panda's my fucking beautiful, beautiful mod. Annar Charlie Marks, the one, the only, the person whose name is the most difficult to pronounce. And thank you immediately for making the fucking hype train go into overdrive mode. Thank you, Ilian, so very much for the resub. Thank you, Sean Trank Redemption, for the 5 gifted subs. That is the 20th gifted sub by this goddamn OG. Thank you, So1Zoo, for another gifted sub. If we can make this train level 5, it will be large enough to plow through all the ministers and presidents of the colonial state of Israel. Thank you, Nozo Queer, for the resub as well. Holy shit, I might now be able to afford warm water. No, they dug up the entire street downstairs. Like in front of my building, there was a very big hole for a while. And I was like, oh, this hole is probably there because that they gated around, which for them to get around the hole is borderline impossible in the Balkans because all the streets are just completely filled with fucking holes. And then I come back from the seaside where for 3 days I was celebrating my girlfriend's birthday. Happy birthday to the OG, the only woman on planet Earth who would ever tolerate my stupid ass shit, except for the beautiful women in chat, of course. 3 days birthday on the seaside. It was really nice. We come back and now the whole fucking street is completely dug up and there is no warm water. I was like, we should have stayed. Thank you very much again to Nozo Queer and thank you to Romka for that 300 bits. Jesus Christ. Business. Davai hype train. Davai. And yeah, so no warm water. When I went downstairs to ask them, hey, when will we get warm water? They were like, I don't fucking know. There's basically 10 dudes sitting in chairs downstairs like this, watching 2 dudes actually dig up the pipes and try to fix something. So at first I was like, this is so that they protect the cars from breaking. No, turns out they were just postponing fixing the public heat system that the evil communists back in the day made for like 3 weeks, and now they're finally fixing it. So hopefully I avoided the worst shit. Okay, we have more OGs. Jocula, you should get it back in an hour. I'll turn it on. Oh, thank you, Jocula, very much. Thank you, Jocula. Jocula is secretly the mayor of every single Balkan city that's here in chat. Thank you, Glacy, for the sub. Very close to tier 5, my beauties. 5th month sub. That is absolutely unhinged. That automatically zoomed the ad that was going to play. But anyways, what was a little bit of updates for me. I had 3 days of complete unhinged drinking for the birthday. All the closest people in the world, we gathered in this decent villa on the seaside. We played like there was a topic for the birthday itself. It was pimps and hoes, but like the most like regional ones. And obviously I was a Balkan pimp. I was just wearing a wife beater with a blazer on top, and I went and I bought those chains that people used to walk dogs. Well, I bought them and I wore them as if they were gold and silver chains. It was very, very, very over the top. Everybody dressed up in their own particular way, and it was really edgy. It was nice. It was fun. The booze was great. The views were nice. It was a lovely weekend. But it took me literally. I came back on Monday, and it took me all day yesterday to just recover. So what I'm saying is, I guess, don't drink. Wonderful. Even though I had a great fucking time. Thank you very much, Glacy, for the resub, and thank you very much, the Drew Stew, the OG Drew Stew, for his 3rd month peak. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. It genuinely was. The hangovers, though, not very much so. And then I came back here, and there was no warm water. That's basically it. Thank God there's an air conditioning, which I will always mention because it is quite literally the greatest contribution that you guys ever gave to anybody in the world, and that is Yugo having a fucking air conditioning through subscriptions. Anyways, obviously I'm not trying to undermine your beautiful lives. Now, what will we be talking about today? What is the great topics of the day of today, of today's day, of today's day? It is many things. We will be talking about alpha meltdowns, as we always do. We'll be talking about pseudo-intellectuals. We will touch on our great lions who love Israel so much. Ben and Panada made a video. We might start with that. Why Indians love Israel so much. We're going to catch up on the news when depressionnow.com with Amy Badman, brought to you by the War and War Report, comes out in a little bit, and catch up with all the news. We're going to talk about the trap of consumerism, and then my boy, Jordan Peterson came up with some classics. Was Karl Marx a Satanist? What Karl Marx thought about religion? The health crisis is manufactured. Jordan B. Peterson going down the rabbit hole of being a dumbass fucking piece of shit benzos addict. And afterwards, we're going to watch two more serious videos, like the one from Hakim, The Economic Freedom Map is Nonsense, and then Israel's master plan for ethnic cleansing. So we raise our depression levels even higher. Still, you haven't reached the level 5 hype train, but I'm very thankful for the level 4 hype train. Today, we have, with this hype train, not saying that others won't come, the train only managed to hit Netanyahu's house, not the general leadership. So still, a decent win for the anti-Zionist hype train stratagem that we drop in IRL Call of Duty. We're going into the Jordan P hole, yes, India Lion 2030. But to continue the lore of dunking on Indians, who, by the way, were some of the coolest people on planet Earth, but specifically Indians that love Israel, let us learn about this lore, because we all wondered, especially when those unhinged motherfuckers come into chat, what's the connection between Indians, certain Indians, and their absolute adoration towards good old Israel. A lot of you probably correctly were just like, oh, it's the super right-wing Indians that just hate Muslims. So they're like, Palestinians are Muslims, Israelis are killing them. So that sounds based to us. So let us give some mutual racism aid, right? But yeah, let's see what Bedin and Panada said. But just to remind chat, because I already see some people writing, that doesn't give you an excuse to like shit on Indians in general or Buddhism. Like, please don't do that. That's like you're doing the same shit they are doing. So yes, as a proud cumskin Christian Israeli nationalist Slav dog, I don't even remember what he called me last time. Let's dive in through the lens of the most unhinged comrade we know, which is Bed Empanada, Osama bin Laden maxing no more.
Why Indians love Israel so much is because they see it as a prototype for their own. Hindu nationalists rather love Israel so much is because and there's a lot of those, probably like more than half of the people in India right now are Hindu nationalists. But the reason why they love Israel so much is specifically because they see
more than half. That's a bit too much. I can't believe that the great Indian people that have given us half of the world's civilization, not 50%, are just unhinged, stupid nationalists. I doubt that. But then again, Bedin Panada is an expert in putting everything on steroids. Thank you very much. Is the greatest for joining the great Gunnar Jizraeli army. At least helping a person join. Thank you, beautiful gifters.
See in Israel like an example for their own project. They see that Israel ethnically cleansed Palestinians. They see that they expelled them to their own little Bantustans, to the concentration camps, and they're continuously trying to occupy them more and more. And they're like, yep, we want to do that here. We want to do that here. We see ourselves in Israel, so we support Israel. Same reason why Morocco and Israel have relatively good relations, because Morocco sees Israel.
To attach a little Balkan context, there is a very schizophrenic moment of Republika Srpska, the Serbian federative republic inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is a federation where it's very schizophrenic. You have Serbian patriots or whatever you want to call them inside of Republika Srpska. They're very pro-Palestine because they're like, oh, we're like Palestinians in this Bosnian federation. We're being discriminated against. And there are other Serbian patriots or nationalists, call them whatever you want, that are like, no, Israel based because that's what we actually want to do to the Muslims in Bosnia. So it's a very, very peculiar infighting between people with the relatively same outwards goal about how they're supposed to perceive another quote unquote conflict happening abroad. And that just tells you that at the end of the day, the support for Israel or Palestine, especially in countries like India, Serbia, Croatia, fucking probably even Argentina on steroids, but everywhere, is mostly going to come from whatever discussion is being held, quote unquote, whatever debate is being held over in the United States, just as it happened with Ukraine, Russia, etc., etc.
Settler colonial state, and they're like, well, that's exactly what we want to do in the Western Sahara. So, they have these sort of shared interests to, like, in general, vote together on stuff, to, like, oppose the same sort of international law initiatives that could put them in jeopardy, stuff like that. And they decide to be friends. And while Indian Hindu nationalists are...
It's a reminder to my beautiful mods, without whom I would not be able to do any of this, to, from time to time, adjust the title, please. Thank you very much in advance.
Very much not quite yet in that sort of stage of their desire to ethnically cleanse and expel people yet. They see themselves in Israel. They see their own aspirations in Israel, and they're like, "Whoa, this is a country that we want to, that we want to be like. This is a country that we see as a model for what we want to do in so many different places in our own country. So we love them. We offer them our full support, sir." And that's why. And
there's a lot of like pitches that are used by the right wing very much so, to not pitch necessarily Israel's economic model, but Israel's apartheid model, to say, no, Israel isn't rich because literally they are sucking off of the American tit, and they are overexploiting the local resources, and they're selling it abroad, and they're basically using borderline slave labor from the minority, which is not really a minority in their country, that they are apartheiding, right? A lot of right-wingers will redirect and say, because this is an ethno-state, that is why they are doing so well. So you should become an ethno-state as well, and you will do as well. This is the classic fascistic pitch that was given to everybody when it comes to reference to apartheid South Africa, and the even more extreme, that you can't get more extreme than South Africa, but except for one country, what I'm going to mention, Nazi Germany. A lot of British fascists, American fascists, etc., like, look at how well the fucking trains are running on time, and that is because they are an ethno-state, right? Even though, like, why don't you point at Estonia being a heaven on earth as an ethno-state? It happens to be an ethno-state, not because they were calling it. I can't believe I'm defending fucking Estonia. But you get my point, okay? Fucking Macedonia is almost... Greece is an ethno-state. I don't see Greece doing fucking phenomenal because it's mostly like a 95% one ethnicity country.
So many Hindu nationalists absolutely fucking love and adore Israel. Though in many cases it's not really that deep. They just see Palestinians are majority Muslims. Israel
Ultra Left 213 Indian Land reporting in. Hello, comrade.
Kills Palestinians.
We're talking shit about your fellow citizens. I apologize. We can't only talk shit about Americans or Balkanoids all the time.
Hindu nationalists also want to kill Muslims. Hindu nationalists also hate Muslims. So they're like,
by any means necessary, Greece is incredibly cheap alcohol. That is the true sign of civilization. Yes, that is what they're not talking about. That is actually the great Jewish conspiracy that they're stopping you all from embracing. That is, the more alcohol in one country, the better it does economically, okay? That you must remember. And you can Google it, as Marx's best friend and sometimes sugar daddy boyfriend Engels said, what was it? I'll remember later. Drinking is the fucking... Dude, I literally had that as my graduation quote in university. Drinking, not the opiate of the masses, but Engels' quote, drinking is the best. The less you eat. No, come on. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. Fuck yeah. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. There we go.
We love Israel. In many cases, it really is that simple. But for the ones who are smarter, for the ones who are like leading the movement, who love Israel for reasons more beyond just like the base racial hatred, they also see in Israel the same sort of colonial project that they want to be carrying out in their own country. And that makes them very happy. So there's two elements to it, which is just pure hatred of Muslims, very much a hatred of sort of a racialized concept of a Muslim as well, which results in them loving Israel because Israel kills Muslims. And then there's, the sort of the ones who also see it.
India be on a pipeline where like the eternal joke was always, hey, like Western white people always result to like insane, unhinged hatred, genocidal aspirations, etc., etc. It has to do something with their culture, blah, blah, blah. That whole like lacking in material analysis, yeah? And Indians walk into the room and like, ha ha, no, baby! We get to do a little bit of that hating too. Doesn't matter that we happen to not be European. Even though, ironically, probably like half of the fucking hardcore Hindu nationalists believe in unhinged, like, we are actually the OG Aryans type of shit, etc., etc.
As well as that, or
Hyperborea, but with six armed gods.
who above, sort of more, who seem more important than that, the fact that Israel is doing sort of, 21st century settler colonialism, which is exactly what they wanted to be doing in their own country. So there's two elements there to the sort of Hindu nationalist support of Israel, which then leads to like random Hindu guys posting on Twitter like, hello.
Thank you very much to the OG of OGs, Yana Gibashi, for the gifted sub. It is very nice to see you as always in chat, Yana.
Oh, I would like to join the IDF. I will take no salary, sir. Please invite me, sir. I love Israel, sir. There are people who see that sort of thing and they just become racist against Indians. Like they use this term like pajit, which is like a racist term, basically.
And thank you very much, Yana Gibashi, again for a gift. That is the 143rd. My thanks could not reach from the ground to the sky when it comes to me thanking Yana. Thank you, Yana, very much.
I love Israel, sir. There are people who see that sort of thing and they just become racist against Indians. Like they use this term like pajit, which is like a racist term, basically used by the same sorts of people who post like wojaks of Indians with like smelly lines coming from them that are clearly racist. But there's also the fact that a lot of
Jesus, my racism lore wasn't advanced enough to know about.
Soldier.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. I guess I'll say the P word. What? There was words for Indians. I thought like the whole point of being a racist piece of shit was like all the browns and the blacks are kind of all the same. But the more I learn about racism lore, the more I understand that, ironically, the ultra racists that are generalizing all these vastly different cultures and places actually like are deeply involved into differentiating between the different groups that they hate. But I always thought they would just call them, for example, sand N-word, snow N-word, etc., like the local climate and then N-word. I thought that was the limit of their imagination. But no, we have stuff like, sorry for saying Pajit. I'll try not to even remember it. Thank you very much, Dio Camboy, one of my favorite names. Yeah, let's go for the 3rd month sub. Thank you very much.
Indians really are like that. No. Let me rephrase that. Not that they're smelly and gross. Rather, they're really like that in that they really support Israel. And people who are already racist against Indians see that support for Israel and they decide to use it as an excuse to be racist against them more. So you got to watch out for those sorts of people who use the fact that Hindu nationalism is a disgusting, gross ideology as just an excuse to launder racism against Indians. The same way that like some Nazis use fake support for Palestine as a way to launder anti-Semitism. I'm not sure what the fuck "sir" is. I'm not making an accent. I say "sir" because when Indians
like the deepest racism lore was when I saw right-wingers support al-Assad in Syria. Al-Assad, Bashar al-Assad, what was the song? But they were supporting because they were like, this is a good country because a white European is ruling the Arab hordes, and we need to support him because that is the future. It is the white man not mass murdering but controlling the browns and the blacks, and that is what shall uplift the world or whatever. It's like inclusionary serfdom, imperial racism. We constantly talk about leftist infighting, which obviously is a much bigger problem than right-wing infighting, but they got their own subgroups, trust me, that you don't want to know more about.
Say type online, they don't say
is Assad white. To them he is, right? To them he is, because they want to pitch, based Assad because white.
"Sir." They say "sir." They don't type with an accent. they just say, they write SAR. So I've never seen or heard that, but they definitely say sir a lot when they talk to Israelis. And in general, the Indian English dialect is in general extremely overly polite, which I would assume is just a carryover from probably the way that people speak Hindi. Lots of honorifics and stuff, I would guess. I know nothing about it. I'm just making this up as a guess. My point is, like, Indian English basically comes off as incredibly overly polite to the point of being awkward and weird. And that results in very, very funny moments when Indians online try to talk to Israelis. And they're like incredibly deferential and like they treat them like they're nobility or something. But I think it's just sort of the way that Indians speak English.
My favorite were like the tweets when the genocide in Gaza started. My favorite were tweets by Israelis themselves, like using emotes of different flags to show these are our ally nations. You know, these are people supporting us in a great crusade against the terrorism masses, the hummus, right? And then they would not post the Indian flag, even though they would post like 60 flags, right? And the comments would be completely filled with, but sir, why don't you mention India? Sir, why aren't you mentioning India? Sir, the Indian line is also behind you. You should mention India. You should edit this post and add the Indian flag, sir. It was like, holy shit. Like it was like throwback to World War I, like if there was like detachments of people from the colonies that were willing to go die in the Great European War. Like, yes, sir. Please, sir, let me give my flesh to the bullets of your enemies.
And doesn't mean they're actually being polite. Doesn't mean they're just being nice. It's just the way that they sort of speak the language. Just the way their dialect developed. Like, yeah, like British English, which is like if you say hello to someone, it's an offense. And then you have Indian Standard English, which is like when you say hello to someone, you have to preface it with like 50 different like honorifics and deferentials to them that tell them how great you think they are. That's another thing. Like it's funny, like when you talk to Hindu fascists, because they will talk to you like in such an overly nice way. Like
Ultra Left 213. I remember seeing Brahmins on Israel subreddit asking how they could join the IDF to help. An IDF response says, sorry, we can't do that, not because we wouldn't like your help, but because it would be too much friendly fire. What do you mean, sir, friendly fire? Well, respectfully, we can't really differentiate you from the Palestinians. But please, sir, let me help, sir, please. Like literally the fucking trader detachments of Slavs, the Quislings that like worked for the fucking Germans during World War II, and the Germans would like pretend they respect them, but they would disrespect them so much they would give them like not second use but like fourth use uniforms, like that like 10 Germans by that point fucking died in without any like insignia or whatever. Yes, please run at the bullets of our enemy so we can pinpoint the direction from which they're firing. That is exactly what we want you to do. Thank you for serving the Great Reich. You will definitely have a place in the Reich after. Definitely, absolutely. Do not read the Lebensraum stuff, please.
just so polite, so nice. And then like 2 sentences later, they'll just start telling you about how much all Muslims should die. So like the disconnect between like just the incredibly polite way that they speak English and the things that they're actually saying is really fucking funny sometimes. And really weird. And also, yeah, a lot of very, very much of a disconnect with the way that they treat lower caste people in their own society. Anyway, that's my rant about why Hindu nationalists, not all Indians by any means, but why a significant portion of them who are Hindu nationalists.
By the way, I was told by my mods to do this, so I posted on Twitter that we're live. So go and like that shit or retweet it or some shit. I deleted it after the stream ends so it doesn't fuck up your Twitter thing or whatever. So I guess this is what's done, so we get the word around and more people join or whatever the fuck. So you have links for the actual tweet. So go retweet that and then come back. That's I guess a thing that we do. Yeah, that streamers do. I'm still a baby streamer, fucking 5 months in, but because I stream like fucking only 10 times a week, I really need to increase that. So this post, which by the way, I really love this photo. Make a sword Wojak edit of them. Occupy Wall Street? No. Denied. I have drawn you as a Sojak. You are immediately lost.
Nationalists love Israel so much.
Look at the reply, quick. What? I love the most fun reacts to suggest to you is a YouTube channel called Tomorrow's Teachings, and it's horrifying brain rot. Fucking Bet and Penada live up in here, always dominating. But yes, thank you for teaching us what we already knew Bet and Penada, which is pretty much they just fucking. I wanted to maybe watch an idiot's guide to Serbian politics, but this is 15 minutes long.
I'm gonna
go
over.
Just go to the end. Okay, so we have which parties? We have 40% of the vote, the We Love Russia party. Destroy Ukraine. Watch out for the gays. I am Serbian. Please kill me. I love genocide. Believes George Soros controls the world. Leader Slobodan Genocidovic. His dad is a war criminal. One correction. They don't do watch out for the gays. They do not mention the gays. That's their very specific thing. They even had the what do you call it? The Napredna stranka, Srpska napredna stranka. They even had a gay prime minister, a lady, that they really harped on to say, oh, look, we are developed European nation. Da, очень хорошо, very good. Okay, so that one not so much. The 20 correct, but everything else is correct. You will see that absolutely every single one of them loves the genocide. Okay, and that's the same. Not to only shit on my Serbian brothers and sisters and MBs. This is the same for the Croats as well. The same for the Bulgarians, and the same for the for certain Bosnian, both Muslim and Christian denominations. Okay, so the next one is 20% of the vote. We want to be the USA so bad. Please bomb us and kill us. We are such inferior party. Pro-EU, pro-West hates nothing more than they hate their own country, people, and culture. We call them auto-chauvinisti. Yes, so self-chauvinistic, basically 50 US-funded NGOs in a trench coat. Pure truth, man. Biggest fear is a law that would force them to reveal foreign funding. Preach. Which is what is happening in Georgia. I love the Georgians. They're like the teenagers are so hyped. They're like showing like the symbols of Hunger Games. They're LARPing freedom fighting because what? Because the government is like, oh, we should show where your funding comes from, man. Georgia, the state, and Georgia, the country, continue being not exceptionally based. Okay, this is very correct. The leader Bill Clintonovich changed the name to honor U.S. leader who bombed his own country. Went to U.S. on working holiday once, but couldn't get a permanent visa, so he decided to turn Serbia into the USA. See how fucked they are? They're like nothing. Okay, but they don't get 20%. They get maybe 10 to 15%. The Kill Albanians party, that's the Radikalna Srpska stranka. Those guys get like 2% now. But the 10%, they get 2%. Just wants to kill Albanians because they are Turks, pretty much. But what is the lie here? What is the lie here? Eh? What is the lie here? I'm shutting the fuck up. Party of the dads who are war criminals. Moje tata zločinac iz rata. Agrees that Srebrenica was a genocide and thinks it was good. Jesus Christ. Intense racial hatred of guys who live like 10 kilometers away and who are literally exactly the same in every discernible way. Preach. That is the internationalist Balkan attitude. Believes George Soros controls the world. I think everybody except the We Want to Be USA, Please Bomb Us party believe George Soros controls the world. The next one is the Kill Bosnians party. Usually it's the same party, and they get 2 to 5%. Same as above, except for Bosnians. The Serbian Greens party, 5% of the vote for LGBT rights. Wants Serbia to atone for its genocidal signs of the past. Seemingly good on just about everything, fanatically pro-Israel. I don't know where he found the pro-Israel stuff. Maybe because they get some money from there, but they get to 10, 15-ish% of the vote. They really harp on what do you call gardening instead of eco-friendly stuff, right? The Serbian Victims Party, pro-Western liberals who somehow still believe that Serbia did nothing wrong, all for LGBT rights and stuff and for international law. Until they see someone make a comparison with Serbia in the 90s, they go into full uncontrollable rage. Yeah, I know a lot of those guys. Those are like the Serbian no-class consciousness party, okay? Instead of, hey, Yugoslavia fell apart and we went through all of these horrible wars because we abandoned the socialist scientific doctrine, and that motivated more inter-ethnic hatred, which led to one of the worst wars seen in the last 100 years on planet Earth. No. Let's just be like we actually did nothing wrong, because the liberals from the other countries also say we did nothing wrong. And it's very funny how the liberals from Serbia, liberals from Bosnia, the liberals from Croatia, they very often use the argument that, hey, the other countries say that they did nothing wrong. That allows us to say we did nothing wrong. Love it. The Serbian Communist Party, 5% of the vote, pretty much, maybe 1%, but okay. The United Yugoslavia was actually broke. This is me. This is literally me. 5% of the vote. The United Yugoslavia was ever actually broken up. Basically, sovereign citizens, but for Yugo nostalgia. Believes that Serbian government is de facto continuation of Yugoslavian government. That's my boy Parenti right there. It should thus invade all former Yugoslav states. Leader Josef Stalin Tito changed name from Slobodan Mitrovic. He's 90 years old, lives in the same apartment the state gave him in the 1950s. Oh, so fucking good. So fucking good. I will never forgive him for this. Thank you very much, on-screen celebration, for the 40 bits. Yana Gibachi on-screen celebration. Yeah, cool. By the way, does this still work? Wait. Yes, it does. Oh my God, this still works. Come on. Do the crazy thing. This is so. I love MacBook. I need to find a way where, depending on different symbols I use, like emotes actually show up instead of this. By any means necessary, Serbia will retake the Balkans for the sake of socialism. If it only worked that way, my brother.
The reason why.
Okay, let's see if we can start today after obvious shit posts with some news. See what the fuck is going on with depressionnow.com with Amy Badman. One day ago, no, we still don't have Amy Badman live. Okay. So, let's start. Well, here's every fake red line and investigation that Biden has declared for Israel.
Every fake.
Let's talk about Israel, baby.
Investigation and fake red line that Biden's declared while claiming he doesn't tolerate Israel killing civilians.
Thank you very much, RuPaul Locko, for the resub. Hello, my favorite gooners and supreme leader, father of Jezreel. Thank you for kind words, Tavarish. Hope you're doing well. We are, especially when you're here. Thank you, Yugopnik, for being part of this community. Love you all. Love you too. And thank you very much, Gabriel Hellborn, for the gifted subs. Ain't nobody watching ads up in this motherfucker, okay? Ain't nobody watching ads, for the great Gunnar army shall be adless. We will not establish socialism. We'll just simply ban ads, which is almost the same thing. Socialism is like inevitable if you ban ads. That's my new contribution to socialist theory. That's my new contribution. If you ban ads, socialism happens. It just happens. Which unironically could be a decent point, because like consumerism, which we'll talk about later, might not necessarily die off, but pace itself out, because it will no longer be able to directly impact demand and growth of demand. But that's for commodities. But that's for later. Let me not throw shit at you yet.
A month ago, Joe Biden said in an interview that an Israeli invasion of Rafah would be a red line for him, and that we, quote, can't have another 30,000 more Palestinians dead. He said that if Israel invaded, the U.S. may stop sending weapons to Israel, which would make their invasion impossible.
Would invasion of
the U.S. is like a father that has a daughter, that has a son that is dating somebody, that keeps telling his son to stop beating the shit out of their partner, and says, if you break their arm, I will no longer financially support you. Then they proceed to break their arm, and they're like, yeah, but they're still my son, you know. I unequivocally support my son. If you break their second arm, I will stop supporting you. They proceed to break the second arm, kind of even intentionally. And it keeps going on until the partner of their son is literally like a fucking snake, completely boneless.
Rafah, which you have urged him not to do, would that be
thought daughter or genocidal son? That is the eternal choice, right? I am DJ Cooper.
A red line.
It is a red line. But just last week, Israel committed a massacre in a refugee camp in Rafah and then invaded. What Israel was originally trying to frame as a pinpoint operation has quickly become a large-scale military operation. Airstrikes have become...
Exactly. Thank you, Ramka, for 100 bits. As always, Yugopnik. If you ban advertising, it will have to go on the street and scream Middle Ages style. Hear ye, have amazing one, please.
Wonderful,
taste.
a new child soldier.
No, wine would sell itself based on the fucking taste, man. We will simply rebrand that socialist wine, and you will sell it on this Twitch chat. Okay, I would love to give wine as thank you for subs. Talking about
Wonderful.
subs,
A new
thank you,
child
Chanterelle Chanterelle Critter for the resub, and Ranton Andy. Thank you very much, and welcome back to the communities, my lovelies. Love Yugo's take on what advertising would look like under socialism. Instead of ads manipulating you into drinking carbonated diabetes, socialism would be ads. Here is a thing you can join to help your community. Yeah, man. Yeah. Remember, advertising is just the private industry's propaganda arm. That's it. There's no difference. There's no difference between them trying to make you vote blue no matter who, and them trying to sell you Pepsi Light, Ultra, no sugar, very
Wonderful.
tasty
A new child
Light,
soldier.
Ultra, no sugar.
I mean, subscriber.
Just a private company doing it instead of a quote-unquote arm of the state. Thank you again for the 144th gift sub by Yana Gibashi. Literally not holding up half the sun, holding up most of the sun of this show. And Ramka again, the fucking OG, but with the cheers. Wouldn't the need for advertising just to go away, given a good central planning system that would find you consumers in 1 second?
Wonderful. A new
yes,
child
but
soldier.
up until it is completely self-managed, I mean the centralized system, there would be probably a need to inform people of what is available, right? And the action of informing people of what is available and what would better suit their needs instead of something else would be done by something we, of course, wouldn't call advertising, but would be pretty close to that. Thank you, Yana Gibashi, again for the 145th gift sub. Big G.
More frequent, tanks have entered the city, and now the number of IDF brigades operating in Rafah has gone from 2 to 6. But the Biden administration not only denied that Israel's invasion crosses their red line, it was also discovered that the Biden administration has been continuing to send weapons to Israel despite earlier claims that they had halted a weapons shipment. This is far from the only time the Biden administration has said they would investigate Israel or hold them accountable, only to do none of that. So here's the full list. The Rafah tent massacre. On May 26th, the Israeli Air Force bombed Tel al-Sultan refugee camp in Rafah, killing 50 people and injuring 200 after the airstrike started a fire in the camp. Israel deliberately targeted the camp, which we know because by Israel's own admission.
But guys, have you heard that Biden is actually very angry in private about this? Fucking but South African fucking savage.
And they said they were targeting Hamas fighters in the camp, a claim which they provided no evidence for. They also admitted fault, calling the attack a tragic mistake. But despite all...
I shot my wife because I thought she was an intruder. Yeah, that's how... Oh, God.
This, the U.S. said it didn't cross the red line because it wasn't, quote, a major ground operation.
So how does this not violate the...
They're just words. Them switching up the words that they use for the absolutely same thing. It's because the American public is so removed from what is happening on the ground in all of these either conflict zones or zones of extreme economic oppression, which allow the labor aristocracy of the United States to continue in the direction that it is going in. They're so far removed from it that they only give a fuck about how it is first spun and defined to them by the State Department, and then they want the State Department to make sure they don't go back on what they said. They don't really care about what is happening on the ground. They just care about the State Department not going back on what it is said. It's a fight for aesthetics, basically, and it always has been.
red line that the president laid out?
As I said, we don't want to see a major ground operation. We haven't seen that at this point.
How?
We've only seen a middle-sized ground operation. It's not an XXL ground operation. It's more like an L+ ground operation. You know, one of those bespoke size ground operations. So previously we said no large-scale ground operation, but now we got the bespoke L+. Okay, the ground operation light. Okay, so please vote.
How many more charred corpses does he have to see before the president considers a change in policy?
We don't want to...
Around at least 100,000 more. Then it's large scale. Now you're talking about 100, 200 fucking civilians and it's a refugee camp. Yeah. Define refugee camp. Oh.
see a single more innocent life taken, and I kind of take a little offense at the question.
Mass graves. Palestinians have repeatedly discovered mass graves throughout the war. Most recently, nearly 400 bodies were discovered outside of the Al Nasser medical complex after Israeli forces withdrew from the area. UN human rights officials confirmed that some of the bodies had their hands tied, indicating that they were buried after being executed. Despite initial calls for an investigation, the US refused to endorse an independent investigation and instead decided to ask Israel to invest its own crime.
No, US be like, yo, Israel, take off the handcuffs after you shoot them, you stupid fucks. How am I supposed to pitch this to my voting body, man? Take off the goddamn handcuffs before you shoot them.
Stonewalling any legitimate effort to get to the bottom of the situation. The World Central Kitchen Massacre. On April 1st, Israeli drones...
By the way, totally unrelated. Look, this is literally me. My girlfriend got me this. Tell me this is not literally me. She was like, dude, this is literally you. But she got conned because it's not a fucking sticker, man. It doesn't, like, this doesn't go off, so it's not a fucking sticker. The fuck? But yes, literally me. Look, literally me.
Bombed 3 cars belonging to a charity organization known as the World Central Kitchen. They killed 7...
Thank you, Ramcon, 100 bits. It's funny how the same motherfuckers that spew Nazi fabrication about the hunger in 1932 being a genocide are trying so hard to downplay an actual genocide. It's always the same guys, man. It's always the same guys.
Aid workers of various nationalities hitting 3 separate vehicles in a motorcade over the course of 30 minutes. The charity workers were even coordinating their position with the Israeli military before it happened. Israel initially refused to say whether it was responsible, but then later admitted to the attack after it became obvious. Joe Biden said he was outraged and heartbroken by the attack, which included the death of an American citizen, but didn't do anything to punish Israel for it. The Flower Massacre. On February 29th, Israeli troops opened fire on Palestinians as they waited to receive flour from humanitarian aid trucks, killing 118 people and injuring over 700. Israel's excuse was that it had mostly fired warning shots and only shot a few people that posed a threat, and that the rest had died in an impending stampede. But UN officials visiting the hospital where the injured were being treated reported that large numbers of...
Imagine doing a school shooting and only killing one kid, and then the stampede causes the death of 5 more kids. And your lawyer in court says, but sir, this is only one manslaughter case. The rest died from a stampede. What are you implying? Like, the excuses are fucking gorgeous, man.
The injured had gunshot wounds. A CNN investigation...
Exactly, Gabriel Hellborn. Warning shots with what? A battleship cannon? Yeah.
Involving 22 eyewitnesses also...
Hope nobody heard that.
...also found that Israel's timeline of events didn't add up. Despite the overwhelming evidence that Israel was lying and vocal condemnation from within the Biden administration over the attack, the administration not only refused to punish Israel at all, it was also the sole country in the UN Security Council to veto a resolution condemning Israel for the attack. The murder of Hind Rajab. On January 29th, an Israeli tank opened fire in a civilian vehicle carrying 6-year-old Hind Rajab and 6 of her family members. The initial tank shell killed every member of Hind's family besides her cousin, who was subsequently killed by machine gun fire. Hind pleaded with aid workers over the phone to be rescued before she was also murdered. A State Department spokesperson stated, "Everyone in the United States government felt quite deeply about the killings." The State Department stated that they asked Israel to investigate the killings, but Israel, of course, lied. They said their forces were nowhere near where Hind was killed, but 2 separate investigations of satellite imagery contradicted these claims, as well as the discovery of fragments of a US-made tank shell, the exact type used by Israel. The US, however, has still not punished Israel for the killings. The demolition of Israel University. On January 17th, Israel detonated hundreds of mines inside of Israel University, destroying it completely. When questioned by reporters, State Department officials said that they had raised the issue with the Israeli government. There was, however, no follow-up, and the issue went unpunished. Months later, the IDF quietly admitted to it, censuring a single officer for the unauthorized demolition of the university. There has been no shortage of callous and reprehensible war crimes committed by Israel throughout this genocide. If the Biden administration had any interest in holding Israel accountable, it could have done this months ago. But they don't care. They think we're stupid. They think that if they call for an investigation or issue a statement, we'll forget in time for Israel's next war crime. This is why activists have now called for a national mobilization on the White House on June 8th, calling on people to wear red and surround the White House to call out Joe Biden for all of his fake red lines on Israel's crimes. Biden isn't fooling anyone. When it comes to genocide and war crimes, Biden never gave Israel a red line. All he ever gave them was a green light.
Do Greens qualify?
Thank you very much, Puerto Rican vegan socialists, my beautiful Puerto Ricans and my beautiful vegans. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for the sub. The people's red line shall not be crossed. What other take am I supposed to give you that you don't already know about what we previously witnessed? It is all about rhetoric. It is all about aesthetics. When you're the world's unipolar power, and when there is no real division in the political elites of the United States, the only ones who get to dictate what is normal behavior in a war zone and what is not, even though that by itself is an insane imperialist concept. But when they're the only ones allowed to dictate what is normal and what is not, they control the complete narrative. But the problem with Israel in particular is that the United States establishment has not been able to set up any narrative that the Israelis wouldn't cross. And they're struggling to keep up with the levels of unhinged that the IDF is working towards, because even the American State Department, to an extent, could not imagine the lengths to which they would go to, and that is giving a lot of fucking leeway to the Americans, right? But it's ironic that, again, they have complete control over the narrative, and yet what they're trying to tell the American public as, what they're trying to define to the American public as normal behavior in a war zone keeps getting changed because the Israelis are doing worse and worse and worse things. It's like a liar that needs to make bigger and bigger lies in order to protect the previous lie. And eventually it becomes so black and white that did kids go out in the streets and they start protesting, but then you got to stop the spread of said truth, and you simply, you return to the more, let's call it, traditional approach that states have to minimizing and neutralizing opposing sentiment, which is, beating the shit out of them, basically. Keep in mind, the United States is just angry that Israel is doing their war crimes so openly and being so documented, not that Israel is doing actual war crimes. Exactly, that's what I mean. The Americans are trying to create a narrative in which the Israelis are supposed to look like the quote-unquote civilized party, like the quote-unquote good guys. But the Israelis are outpacing their lies, and the domestic, even liberal and centrist population is starting to notice it. Yeah. So, when it comes to narratives and noticing things, I am now going to give you a narrative. And the narrative is very specific. It is very, let's call it, bipolar. You have a choice between watching capitalist propaganda in exactly 1 minute and 7 seconds, also known as an ad, trying to sell you many, many things, or in this narrative that I'm presenting to you, you can subscribe for $5 a month or for free through Prime, or give to somebody else, and then enjoy my type of propaganda as I scream it into the microphone while supporting the show and getting plenty of benefits. Think about it, baby. Think about it. Jesus, a lot of 10s out of 10s and then a lot of 0 out of 10s. You people are bipolar. Thank you very much, Gabriel Bourne, for the gift sub. There you go. Somebody fucking gets what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's see. The health crisis is manufactured by Jordan Petersoni, okay? The Jordan Petersoni, my Benzo's boy, my Benzo's king. What the fuck does he even mean by the health crisis is manufactured? Let's put on our doctor glasses here.
Whole food?
Well, certainly the
do grains qualify as a whole food?
Well, certainly the form in which they are most frequently consumed today, absolutely not.
Right.
Most people today, the form of grains which most people consume are refined grains.
Muffins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Health cake.
And even if you were to go to Google Images and look at the image of the food pyramid, which thankfully has been retired, what it's been replaced by is, I would say not that much better.
Yeah.
Although it is an improvement, but I mean, it was literally the illustrated USDA food pyramid. It was like pasta. It was like loaves of bread.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that that's essential for good health, that I need to be eating 7 to 11 servings of this
At least.
on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you actually look at what a grain is, I mean, most grains today actually in the supermarket are fortified because they're so nutrient impoverished that they have to have added nutrients added to them to make.
Yeah, why? Why? Because they want to sell you the same product at the same price, at the same labor cost, but they want to make more money. So they cut on the product quality and the production quality. And they give you a shittier product for the same money. Why a shittier product? Because it will cost them less to produce a shittier product. This is a direct consequence of market competition. But no, let me guess, Mr. Pepperoni Man here isn't going to bring that up.
In their basic form.
Serve any sort of dietary value at all. But they're essentially pure energy. It's cattle feed. Now, I'm not saying that grains can't play a supportive role to health. I mean, certainly you look at, for example, bodybuilders who are in fantastic physical shape. It's not, they do, many of them on social media, the more prominent ones do use performance-enhancing drugs. But I mean, grains can be used to facilitate exercise performance and the like.
Thank you, Uncle 100 bits. Capitalism drives innovation, they say, but the milk packs are not 1 liter, but 0.9 milliliters are now as well. Look at all your chocolates. All your chocolates are at the same price, but and the packaging looks as if they're the same size, but they're literally less grams that they used to be. Chocolates to me were the most mind-blowing ones, kind of the ones that started it.
And I think if
you can say too, like socially speaking.
Thank you for the 100 bits as always, my friend.
The first order problem that our society had to contend with was getting everyone enough calories.
Yeah.
Right. And you could see some utility in generating cheap calories. I often think about corn syrup in that regard. Corn syrup is a very cheap source of calories.
Yeah. Corn syrup of all things that you're going to use, literally the thing, we started shoving into absolutely everything because it would lower the production cost of things and would still allow you to sell it as a thing that people consumed for eons, thinking that they're consuming good shit, but they're just consuming shit that's fucking pumped with corn syrup so that they can feel as full while the company makes profits. And they are less healthy because it directly fucks them up. Corn syrup was an idea introduced because we wanted to feed the masses. The masses demanded food, and we gave them corn syrup. If there is ever a sentence one can use to piss on the market project, that's the one.
But when the problem is obesity and not starvation, corn syrup seems like a very bad solution.
Correct.
And so, I'm willing to give the Department of Agriculture, let's say, its credit for assuming that, or for ensuring that calories per se are in plentiful supply, which is the case. But man.
Thank you, Yana Gibashi, again for the gifted sub. He continues pitching that the push towards corn syrup or putting sugar in absolutely everything, or quite literally chemically enhancing the calorie count of particular foods as a means to make them cheaper and easier to sell as like a planned push to help people have more access to food. It's God.
We're paying a vicious price for it on the other side of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is we live amidst the first time in human history where there are more overweight people walking the earth than underweight.
Right.
And so we've solved the food scarcity problem. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody in a state of energy deficit today in the Western world.
Yeah.
Especially
and
here
increasingly in the developed world, except when that's used for political, like most of the starvation in particular in the developed world is purposeful, not the consequence of economic inadequacy.
Then what, my brother? Purposeful how? What? Are we going down the path of fucking Bill Gates wanting to starve the Africans?
Right,
Yeah.
it's targeted.
Okay, and even if it was targeted, let's imagine it being targeted is a political goal of certain classes, if you want to call them groups of people, which makes it inherently political. No, okay. It is no access to water because Nestle buys up all the water wells in like 1,000 African villages in this in 1,000 square mile radius is not political. No. What I think is not political. What you think, that is automatically political, and you have an agenda.
And so,
be careful of the agenda, guys. The agenda, the very non-political agenda. The agenda is very scary. We're calling it agenda from now on. Okay.
yeah, and that's a good thing that we solved that problem. But these problems are not trivial either.
Yeah.
And they're getting worse.
But just like, I know this has been harped on forever, but this man is the peak main character of the video game of saying nothing. Let's re-listen to what this man just said about malnutrition in the developing world. Okay, let's just examine this for a second, okay?
Anybody in a state of energy deficit today in the Western world,
Yeah.
especially
And
here
increasingly in the developed world, except when that's used for political, like most of the...
Okay, so nobody has energy deficiency anymore, even in the developing world, especially when that's used for political agenda.
Starvation in particular in the developed world is purposeful, not
That is purposeful. We do not explain how.
not the consequence of economic inadequacy.
Not a consequence of an economic system. That he said not he said there's less starvation in the developing world, but as a consequence of not politics. And this is the intellectual giant of the West. So again, energy deficiency, what the fuck is that?
Right,
Yeah.
it's targeted. And so,
What is it the consequence of then? Yeah.
yeah, and that's a good thing that we solved that problem. But
It's a good thing. He said nothing, like he just words.
these problems are not trivial either.
Yeah.
And they're
And it's important that they're
getting worse.
Correct. And I'm not saying that grains cause, Alzheimer's disease. That's never been my stance. But,
Thank you if I missed it. Yana Gibashi for the gifted sub. Thank you very, very much, Yana.
we do have to look at this as a food quality problem. And grains, I don't believe are, particularly when you have all these other options in the supermarket, like grass-fed, grass-finished beef, wild fatty fish, salmon, for example.
Yeah. I agree. But how much do those cost compared to pasta? And why? Let's see the answer, maybe.
Sardines, eggs. Eggs are one of nature's cognitive multivitamins. A study was just published that found that, just consuming
And they
one-
were demonized too.
They were demonized too.
You
Yeah.
bet.
And interestingly, and this is, again, and to preface, I'll never, just to reiterate, I'll never know what caused my mom's dementia. I don't know if it had.
Sup, Yugopnik, love YouTube videos. I'm here from Hassan, German chatter. Oh, welcome, Hassan heads. You're very welcome. There's no difference between a Yugopnik head and a Hassan head, except for the size of my house. I'm fucking kidding. I'm kidding. One day I will have all the houses.
Anything to do with nutrition. It could have had everything to do with nutrition. I don't know. I'll never know. But, my mom was somebody who, for the entirety of her life, was concerned about heart disease. And so whatever the messaging was around heart disease is something that my mom adopted and ingrained essentially in not just her diet, but my diet growing up. And so, my kitchen was always filled with, low-fat, fat-free, cholesterol-free, food-like products.
Yeah.
That adorned by the red heart healthy logo on them, which you still see ubiquitously in the supermarket, right? And eggs were
Okay, so they're pitching that what the government is telling us is the healthy food pyramid of what needs to be consumed is the biggest influential factor on how we actually eat food. And if we want the American nation to be a bit healthier, or the world, the developed and developing world, to be a bit healthier, we need to change what experts tell us is healthy or unhealthy food. What fucking moon planet that is billions of light years away from planet Earth do you live on? People buy and consume based on how much money they have. The more money they have, the more healthy they are because they buy better shit. They're more mentally well-adjusted, therefore not in the peaks of anxiety and depression, and therefore want to buy something that tastes good but isn't necessarily as good for them because they want to feel some inkling of joy in life, which is caused by what? By the economic system in which they find themselves in. Or because of if we completely exclude that, can literally just not afford the grass-fed beef that you have. Even if the government completely changes the pyramid and actually pitches to you that you should eat quote-unquote objectively healthier foods for your heart, for your gut, for life longevity, etc., etc. You know what that will change? Almost nothing, because people will still not be able to afford to buy those very same objects. And don't even get me started what Just Brandon saying. One problem is that companies pay researchers for fake studies. So all those pyramids that you're shitting on because you don't like them, most likely they have become the mainstream because there is such a thing as a lobby by massive corporations that want you to consume more of their product. The most recent pitch is literally eat cornflakes for fucking dinner because you won't die early.
One of those foods that we threw out, essentially, in lieu of these more, processed, high-margin replacement products. And an egg is literally a cognitive multivitamin. I mean, it contains a little bit of everything required to grow a brain, right? So it's postmarked by nature. This is what you need to grow a brain in an egg yolk, right?
Even if it's a chicken brain.
Even if it's a chicken brain.
Yeah, but in capitalism, I will make pre-frozen egg omelets that have 3% egg in it, and I will sell it to you based on three things. It's quick because you're a slave, you need to get to work quicker. It's cheap because you're a slave and you can't afford anything based on your wages. And it's packaged in a much cooler, edgier way with dragons and lions on it than a fucking egg. So you will be more inclined to feel more close or whatever to your personal identity and the identity of the product that it's trying to sell back to you. Again, these are all problems of what Jordan Peterson is calling non-political, off politics, of the market system, of the way we have set up our economy, of the way we have allowed private enterprise into, and this is not even I'll lower the levels, not even unhinged Yugopnik communism tomorrow thing. We have literally allowed the private enterprise into things that it had nothing, were supposed to have nothing to do with, such as at least the basic things which we should be given as basic human rights: shelter, food, water, internet, transportation, and upkeep of children, etc., etc. But no, all of that is privatized, and that's why you get this shit. People don't buy eggs. Yeah, I wonder why. Not because they don't. Everybody just wants to be fat and die early. Because the government said eat more pasta. Thank you very much, Ronko, for 100 bits. The pyramid that has half of it as grain was literally sponsored by cereal corporations. Exactly. But of course, the gentlemen here are not going to talk about this.
Yeah, but studies are now starting to show that they're an incredible cognitive multivitamin. A study was just published that found that, all it takes is 1 to 2 eggs a week in this one study. And there was something like a 50% risk, close to a 50% risk reduction for the development of Alzheimer's disease.
Wow.
We know that choline is one of the most important nutrients. In fact, about 40% of the...
Yes, great. If this is true, great. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it should be run by scientists and specialists which dictate the type of food which is widely available to people instead of profit-run corporations that are going to sell you the cheapest fucking shit for the highest potential price. This is so such a food to me has always been one of the most cut and dry arguments of the free market not working. And it is always the right wingers that are like, oh my God, everybody's so fucking fat, man. Everybody's so fucking fat. And they're like, oh, that's because degeneracy and people don't actually like respect the great freedoms that this nation has given them and blah, 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 blah. Like the fuck? You think anybody wants to have heart problems? You think anybody wants diabetes? No. But when it's such a common occurrence in a system, it might be a systematic problem. Holy shit. Thank you, Yanagibashi, for the gift. It's up. Thank you very much.
The effect that they saw in this observational trial, they thought was attributed to the fact that egg yolks are the top source of choline in the standard American diet. And yet 90% of adults today don't consume the adequate intake for choline on a daily basis. And choline
Right,
is
so that's the consequence of demonizing eggs.
There you go. You
Great.
demonize eggs.
Great.
90% of adults don't consume adequate choline, which is crucially important. It's the backbone to acetylcholine.
Okay, let's even say, okay, eggs are being demonized. By who? Who's demonizing eggs? Of course, they won't talk about it.
Yeah,
which is
right.
the neurotransmitter involved in learning and memory, right? It forms the, skeleton molecule of our neuronal membranes, which are crucially important for our, brain cell communication, our ability to perceive the world. So it's a fantastic food. And, I remember when my mom first served me.
Romka, up yours, woke moralists. I won't let you demonize eggies.
That egg, my first egg, she was like, she warned me not to consume.
Comrade Internet, there used to be 1 kilo bags of chicken breasts where I lived that sold for $5 in 2019. Now the same 1 kilo bag of chicken costs $12. The cost of milk seems to go up with every visit to the grocery store. Absolutely. And to my vegan and vegetarian friends in chat, I was a vegetarian for like 5 years. It was much more expensive to have a veggie-based diet than to buy a literal dead animal. If that is rational, then I have a fucking bridge in San Francisco I want to sell you. You know what else I want to sell you that's more based than a bridge in San Francisco? Subscriptions! Because if you do not have them for $5 a month or for free, you will have to watch an ad in exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Consider supporting the show. Consider supporting yourself. Feel good about supporting me, and I will feel good in return. And you don't get to watch ads and get based emotes. Thank you for your consideration. The button is below.
Them with any, significant frequency because they might clog my arteries.
Right.
And we know that dietary cholesterol.
Mm-hmm. Well,
for
the
vast
data
majority
was
of
there a
people.
long time ago showing that this.
And Gabriel Hellborn is on a fucking train today. Thank you for the gift of sub. No ads up in this motherfucker.
I knew this in like in the 1980s. The decreased risk of heart disease reported as a consequence of cholesterol lowering was swamped by the increase in suicide that was caused by the fact that cholesterol is a precursor to serotonin. So even if fewer people died of heart attacks, which is probably not true anyways, more people committed suicide. So that's part of the problem with the complexity of dietary studies, right? Is you need to control for a lot of variables and you need to measure a lot of outcomes.
Yeah. But with these observational studies, there's always residual confounding.
Yes, always. There's no way of controlling it.
There's no way.
No. You can't do corretational dietary studies.
Yeah, you just can't.
No. They should never be published.
Yeah, I'm pro plants. That's a flag that that I've planted, no pun intended.
Dr. Peterson's daughter watching this, losing her shit. Pro plants, motherfucker. Doesn't want to say pro vegetarians or pro vegans because that's the liberal agenda.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to imagine a world where all of the mountains of evidence that we have observationally looking at how fruits and vegetables impact human health, the positive effects that we see at the epidemiologic.
I and DJ Cooper, she's literally losing her shit. She's on the toilet all the time because of what she eats. Oh, I love my chat, you fucking freaks, man. You absolute freaks.
Scale, that could potentially be a false positive because Everybody and
Yep.
their mother knows that fruits and vegetables are good for you, right? And eating fresh fruits and vegetables today is an incredible privilege in a time when, 60% of the calories come from these ultra-processed foods. It can be really difficult to find access to fresh fruits and vegetables, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we do have RCT data showing us that there are beneficial compounds. I've talked about some of the phytochemicals in it. But conversely, red meat, it's also very easy.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that a bit, because I was obviously at some point we're going to get into the issue of the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And so I guess the first thing I'd say is, and you're making some allusion to it now, obviously, what are your thoughts about the carnivore diet? And it's
The carnivore diet, as if like more than 15 idiots are completely dedicated to it that bought his daughter's book. Love how he's pitching in comparison to all the other diets that it's a thing that exists. Like in the mainstream.
potential advantages and dangers.
He was talking shit about the pyramid, which obviously we should talk shit about the fucking American food pyramid because it was sponsored by fucking corporations. But well, he was like, "Oh, what do you think about this new only meat blood in your stool approach to diet?"
I think it's potentially a great therapeutic diet for people that have, a predisposition to autoimmunity.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not something that I would ever behold anybody. Here's the other thing is that diet zealots, particularly today on social media, they seem to be very
Trigger incoming.
emotionally invested
Yeah,
in what
yeah.
other people eat. I don't care ultimately what other people eat.
Yeah, I
just want
feel the same way about that,
Yeah.
at say a moral level.
Right. But like
Or emotional.
you want people to be able to make informed decisions, not decisions clouded by what I call covert activism, right? And
Yeah, or overt activism for that matter.
yeah. Or, misinformation or disinformation about what it means to eat healthily today. Ultimately, I don't care, if somebody wants to.
Otherwise known as lies.
Yes, precisely.
Tell your fucking daughter that, bro.
So yeah, I mean, I would, for people that have seen a reprieve of symptoms from some of these awful conditions that people suffer from,
Yeah,
like, keep doing it.
yeah.
I think that for somebody with a robust gut microbiome who, I think people should be able to tolerate, and not just tolerate, but to derive,
Benefit
a
from.
health benefit from, many of these so-called plant defense compounds, even cruciferous vegetables, which have become demonized in certain carnivore circles, due to, certain glucose.
Okay, I'm bored. Was Karl Marx a Satanist? No, I thought this will get me bored. Was Jordan Peterson? Was Marx literally Satan? Is the new title of the stream. Okay, but what if he was though? Yeah. Let's see if I'm kidding, obviously, but I'm not. Let's see if Karl Marx was even more base than we ever thought. Was Karl Marx a Satanist? By Dr. Paul Kengor. Why is your name Kengor, brate? Ja, kurac. Dr. Paul Kengor. Is this the same guy? Why does he have like 3 different life eras in the same picture? My man didn't get much of a glow up or glow down. He just, holy shit. Half of his books are about Ronald Reagan. What is this one? This one is the communist Frank Marshall Davis, Pope and the President. He's obsessed with Ronald Reagan, so I'm sure the takes are going to be awesome. More Ronald Reagan. God and George Bush. Takedown from communist to progressive. Principles, Reagan conservative. Communism, like the politically incorrect guide. Oh my God! The politically incorrect guide to communism. Fucking gold, okay? This is the sacrifice I take upon my soul for you guys here. Listen to guys like this. Okay, so let's see if Carlos Marcus, the famous inventor of taking all your spoons and your houses. Let's see if he also believes in Satanicus.
We don't know why he turned to atheism. These poems that he wrote that were pans to Mephistopheles, is that after he becomes an atheist?
No, he's writing, so the first one was 1830.
Holy shit, my brother. Are we compensating for something with that time, man? Are we compensating for something? Holy cock.
7, wrote another in 1841. He wrote a bunch of them. And
Right.
he did just a chilling play
Yes.
called Ulanem.
Yes.
Oulanem. And people that are watching this, if they now type into their computer Ulanem, even in Google, it'll pop up, play by Karl Marx.
Yeah.
It even has a Wikipedia entry. And let me warn people, you might not want to do this, but if you click the images button, you will
All of them are tragedies, a poetic play written by Marx in 39 during his years as a student at the age of fucking 21. Yeah, 21. If you wanna see the shit I wrote at 21, Jesus Christ, calling me a Satanist would be an underplay. The action takes place in a mountain town in Italy where a mysterious German stranger, Wilhelm, and his companion Lucindo arrived. The play was translated in blah blah blah. A German traveler, Wilhelm's companion, a citizen, Marx only completed the first act of the play. The titular character's name is an Agrum Manuelo, which is believed to be a reference to Emmanuel, one of the biblical names for Jesus Christos. The first act includes Wilhelm laments morality. Let's see a quote. All lost, the hour is now expired, and time stands still. The pygmy universe collapses. Soon I shall clasp eternity and howl humanity's giant curse into its ear. Eternity, it is eternal pain, death, inconceivable, immeasurable, an evil artifice contrived to taunt us, who are but clockwork, blind machines wound up to be the calendar fools of time. A bunch of nerd shit. Classic Karl Marx stuff. I love that he was a theater kid as well. And what if we click images? What? There we go. We clicked images. Clicked images. He's nothing. There's literally nothing bad except this, which is by Paulus Diaras. Interesting how Paul can go to Paulus Diaras. Again, a question: was Karl Marx a Satanist? Get a bunch of Facebook posts about Satanist Karl Marx. That is one scary picture we get, and this one. Poetry on your Marx is another poetry on Karl Marx by Damian Robin. And some AI art here. Fucking lovely.
see. There's some satanic stuff.
We just did. What's the satanic stuff? Like AI art? And whatever this is. 2 pictures out of like 150. I love when they say Google it and then you Google it. Bro is scared of Facebook posts.
Up there from like not heavy metal but like black metal.
Remove Karl Marx from the... Okay. Well, it's International Black Scene, an album by some band. Again, Oulanem albums. Oulanem. It is what looks like a Turkish band. Ilik Oulanem. Sounds Turkish to me. There you go. So, boomer imbecile cretin. The reason there's satanistic shit that pops up when you write the very specific name of the play by Karl Marx is because it's a fucking Turkish... Yeah, I'm the first solo project of one woman in Turkey. It's because it's a woman from Turkey that plays dark metal music. This is the type of guys that Jordan Peterson invites to interview.
Stuff up there from like not heavy metal but like black metal groups. So Oulanem is
The argument that Karl Marx was a Satanist is because if you find that one thing he participated in writing when he was 21, and then you Google it, and then you click on images, you get like death metal bands from Turkey. Oh God, yeah, I love this.
An anagram for Emmanuel or Emmanuelo.
Right.
So
right.
Marx takes Emmanuel, which is the name given to Christ, or Emmanuelo, and he flips it into this anagram called Ulanem. And it's this chilling play. The main character is Lucindo,
Yeah.
Lucindo, and you just can't believe what you're reading with this play. So that was written later in the 1840s.
But why, Marx or the Turkish lady?
So really the prime of his writing, including the decade when he wrote the Communist Manifesto, is also the same decade when he was writing these poems.
Wonderful.
And plays.
And plays.
Yeah.
And plays. And throughout his
Thank you very much, Mother Nature, showing off for the resub for the second month. Thank you very kindly. Welcome back.
life, his kids and others would say, yeah, he had a favorite line always from Mephistopheles.
Right,
Everything that exists
right.
deserves to perish. So that remains a part of him throughout his life.
I know that quote. Because all systems need to be questioned, re-examined, destroyed, and recreated in perpetuity, for that is the evolution of both the economic model and the social constructs which we defined as normal. That is why everything needs to be destroyed in perpetuity, not because we want to blow up planet Earth, compared to you capitalists who are literally actively doing it, but because we want actual evolution. Criticize everything, question everything. Literally why we are not in caves anymore. Thank you very much, Ronko, for large bits. Marxism, Leninism, Satanism is my new thing now. Preach.
His son, Edgar, has a letter where he addresses his father as my dear devil, which...
Yeah, and when Marx at one point was texting with Engels and they were calling each other like the Moroccan N-word. Literally. They were like being edgy fucking 19th century idiots. Marx's son once wrote, "Yo, my dear devil." And there are Google images of a Turkish metal band when you write about Marx's small contribution to this one theater play. These are the arguments we have for now, John.
I don't know. Maybe it's playful. I don't know.
Yeah.
Although I would never, call my dad my dear devil. His wife called him.
Dude, I literally see my dad like, "Oh, piece of shit." And he's like, you fucking disappointment. It's called being close with your parents and kind of being able to say whatever you want and them not taking it too seriously. God.
My wicked knave. I quote Henrik Heinzen, referring to him as a goblin who tried to take me under
exactly V2 tax. They wouldn't know, right? They wouldn't know.
under his spell. Other cases of where he's using that kind of language. When Engels first met him, he describes him as this dark man from Trier. Who hops and leaps and springs on his heels.
Yeah, because he was like, Marx is perpetually drunk and depressed because of the state of the world, because he cared so deeply about it, and also because he was an unhinged alcoholic. But yeah, no, I love this. This I love it. This I'm not even cringing, because this is just. He got a guy who wrote 15 fangirl books about Ronald Reagan to talk about how Karl Marx is Satan. The Red Scare is back, my boys, and it is as unhinged as ever, okay?
The monster of 10,000 devils, he describes him. And the letter from his father is, which was written in 1837, a year before his father died. So his father writes to him, March 2nd, 1837. Karl, at times my heart delights in thinking of you and your fortune, and yet at times I cannot rid myself of ideas which arouse in me sad forebodings and fear when I am struck as if by lightning by the thought, is your heart in accord with your head, your talents? Has it room for the earthly but gentler sentiments which in this veil of sorrow, it's a beautiful letter in many ways, are essentially consoling for a man of feeling? And then this question from the father of Karl Marx to his at this point, 18-year-old son. And since that heart, Karl, is...
Remember 18 before he started fucking... At 18, he was a Hegelian, okay? Young Hegelians, etc., etc. Really not engaging in the wider socialist discussion, which he engaged much later on with Engels. Yeah?
Obviously animated and governed by a demon, not granted to all men.
Maybe this was, I'm not sure, but maybe he was saying this because Marx was constantly beating the shit out of other people, calling them to duels and vomiting all over himself as he would stay up until 5 a.m. roaming the streets of whatever big city he was in. His dad literally, like the modern interpretation of that is his dad hitting him up and being like, dude, like you're pretty cool, but why are you using all these talents to be unhinged? Please stop being less unhinged and use your talents for something better. Again, like this is not even yet Karl Marx, the communism.
Is that demon heavenly or Faustian? Will you ever, and that is not the least painful doubt of my heart, will you ever be capable of truly human domestic happiness? Will, and this doubt has no less tortured me since I have come to love a certain person like my own child, will you ever be capable of imparting happiness to those immediately around you? By the way, the answer was no, right?
Well,
but that
obviously
phrase,
the father
and
had intimations of that.
yeah, and since that heart is obviously animated and governed by a demon not granted to all men, is that demon heavenly or Faustian?
Right.
That's his.
His dad, adjusted to the time in which he was writing, is basically telling him, yo, stop being such a fucking loser, is a demon fucking taking over your body, you loser motherfucker, okay? And that is an argument that Marx was a Satanist, indeed. This shit is very entertaining.
Dad.
Yeah.
And there's only so many of those things I think that a sympathetic Marxist or Marxist biographer can shrug off. I mean, there's just so many statements.
Like, I love how in 100 years, if I contribute to anything in this life and somebody's reading the messages that my dad or my mom ever texted me, such as, son, I saw a selfie in your room. It looks like you are literally living in shit,
Wonderful.
in a dog
A new
sty,
child
in a
soldier.
shit sty. Please clean
subscriber.
your goddamn fucking room. Watch a bit of Jordan Peterson. He would inspire this. And then 100 years later, they're like, Yugopnik the Marxist famously loved swimming in poop. He loved sitting in shit and eating it and covering himself in shit. Yugopnik the actual shit eater. He was really into scat play. He was very much a scat play guy. Okay, thank you very much, Crazy Fist, for the resub. Hello, Mr. Yugo. This is very cringe. I do not like the better zone. Yeah, man. Thank you for the sub. Romka, 100 bits. Man, this is the most entertaining shit I've watched this week. You got to do more of this shit. I know, all right?
Statements like that from him and
Yugo the scat man. Oh, scat man. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Dung eater. Do-do-do. What is scat? Kubashi, thank Jesus you don't know what scat is, okay?
people about
Only for us Satanist cat eaters. Thank you, Kid Litso, for the 5
him
bits.
and people who knew
Yummy.
him and loved ones and a wife, a son, a best friend from Engels, and
Okay,
then
so-
the different writings. Whew.
Okay, so let's attack this.
Now, was he a Satanist, right?
Well,
That is a whole different thing that I can't personally answer.
well,
Then what are we talking about? Then what are we... Okay, he said his dad told him that he's unhinged. I love how the thumb up comes up. His dad told him that he's unhinged. There's a Turkish metal band
Wonderful. A new child
that
soldier.
comes up when you
subscriber.
Google one play that he wrote. and his best friend was basically saying, man, this guy has like heavy emotional damage. He's like the devil. That makes him. And then in the end, we say we don't know if he's a Satanist. Thank you very much. By any means necessary. Memes necessary. One of the best names on here. 2 months with the best Yugoslavian streamer. Thank you very much. Not to be cocky, but the best period, baby. Thank you very much for the 2 months. Seriously. Let's try and hit those 1.2K. Let's hit that shit, even though we don't have much time. 1K, actually, we'll be very happy with.
Well, it seems...
But eventually, I promised you, 3,000K, I go into the park and I make crazy hamburger, okay? We make crazy hamburger. And I'll get like a board in the back. I'll expand this shit. Actually reinvest the fucking sub money.
Not unreasonable to presuppose that he was a devotee of the Mephistophelian ethos.
Yeah, I think that's
right. So
really
the question is, what constitutes a Satanist? Well, someone who generates a murderous doctrine, that raises questions. I mean, dead serious about that. Like,
right.
The most murderous doctrine ever promoted in the roughly Judeo-Christian context by a large margin. So I would say it's incumbent on those who would defend him to describe why we wouldn't just assume that. But the
classic JP.
The part of the reason that I was so interested in talking to you was because I felt that what you documented in your book was extraordinarily telling from the psychological perspective, because I know how these things work. And it is not something that can be overlooked, that was his favorite quote.
Right.
I mean, especially not when you understand Goethe's centrality in the German intellectual tradition. That's like having a favorite quote from Shakespeare, right? And it's not any old quote. It's the central credo of Mephistopheles. So that's extraordinarily telling. Now, I do have another...
Can I give you a...
Yes.
So Robert Payne, the very serious academic, no right-winger, British man of letters, the guy who really broke this first in his 1968 biography of Marx, all right?
Before he starts, thank you, Ranko, for 100 bits. I know Russian motherfuckers who claim that communism is worse than Nazism because Hitler killed foreigners, but Stalin killed his own. Oh, I know. I've heard that from Russians specifically many times. Also ate kids and KVD basements in Hitler, Stalin, Poland, this, that. Classics, man. Classics.
Chapter where he talks about this stuff is called The Demons in his Marx biography. Now, he wrote this, and I'm not saying that I endorse the demons, right? Can I give you a...
Yes.
So Robert Payne, the very serious academic, no right-winger, British man of letters, the guy who really broke this first in his 1968 biography of Marx, all right? His chapter where he talks about this stuff is called The Demons in his Marx biography. Now, he wrote this, and I'm not saying that I endorse this. As an academic, I can't say if this is correct. There were times when Marx seemed to be possessed by demons. That's what Payne wrote. And now this I would at least more endorse. Marx had the devil's view of the world and the devil's malignity. Sometimes he seemed to know that he was accomplishing works of evil. I think that gets closer to it.
How? Why? Source, please. My argument is this one guy said that Marx was accomplishing sources of evil. This is my argument why Marx is bad. Another guy said he's accomplishing works of evil, but no, let's listen to this. What?
Now, Pastor Richard Wurmbrand, who wrote the famous book Tortured for Christ, and was tortured for Christ in Romanian prisons by communist captors who were shouting, "I am the devil," while they were torturing him. He did a book called Marx and Satan. He's convinced that Marx was a Satanist and did some things ritualistically that it might have even been satanic. But I can't say that. I can't endorse that.
But you see evidence of that in his play.
I've never seen...
In terms of at least his fantasies.
That's right. That's right. In fact, Payne even goes so far as to say, Vladimir Lenin, right? There's a statement from Lenin which said, when I was a teen, I broke from all religion. I took the cross from my neck and I threw it in the rubbish bin. And Payne has a quote where, not Payne, Richard Wurmbrand, where I think he believes that Lenin even stomped on it. He says, well, that's a satanic ritual. I don't know.
So I would like to introduce you to something, okay? Okay. So there's a thing called an allegory, right? an allegory. That is what he didn't literally take a cross off his back and put it in the trap. Fucking hell. This guy has like 20 published books.
Know that it is or not. But there's another case of Lenin who at least did the work of the devil. I mean, Lenin had, according to Robert Conquest, W.H. Chamberlain, the first historian of the Russian Revolution, 500,000 people were killed from 1917 to 1923 under Lenin, not even including the Russian Civil War. If that's not the devil's work, I don't know what the hell is, right? But I think what Paine said in the latter quote, the devil's view of the world, the devil's malignity, and at the very least, this identification with kind of devilish-like destruction, right? Tearing everything down, rebelling against the world, everything that exists deserves to perish. That at least.
Everything that exists needs to be questioned, re-examined, and then either reinstated or smashed down, for the workers have nothing to lose but their fucking chains. The whole point of the analysis of history as constant class conflict implies that there is always oppressor and oppressed, and we evolve as a society when we smash the past which no longer makes sense. It is the single greatest instrument of analysis of how we've gotten out of the cave, how we've gotten out of slave society, how we've gotten out of feudal society, and how now we must smash the owner, worker, exploitative mechanism. It is the very critique of the most painful and the most destructive idea, which is continuing the status quo into literal oblivion as both our planet dies around us and we lose ourselves to a false identity of simple consumer subjects. And the fact that you're interpreting a almost religiously enlightened idea of everything that we've known might not be as true as we thought it is, as eternal destruction, if taken to its core conclusion, would imply that figures such as Jesus, or that probably he cares a lot about, or Muhammad, peace be upon his name, etc., who came and said the interpretations of the world and society and God that came before us must be smashed and readapted and changed, as similar figures to Marx as inherently destructive and what satanic. Every evolutionary, revolutionary, or spiritual leader that has ever come has always stated that I am giving an analysis of the world that has come before me that should no longer be fully supported and must be smashed, and we need to adapt another more just system, which will eventually and hopefully be readapted to in the future, when this current one no longer works for the majority of people on this planet. So if out of that context of wanting to smash the past, Marx is satanic, then de facto so is every single rebellious individual that has ever been born. Because that is what rebellion de facto is. Yes, I said de facto. Thank you, Romka, for the 100 bits. Lenin personally killed 500,000 people, socialism, and Stalin personally killed 1,000 gazillion Venezuelan kids, but he made iPhones as well.
And then the ideology that he created that just happened to be responsible for the deaths of over 100 million people in the 20th century.
100 gorillion. Wait, come on. 100 gorillion vuvuzela iPhone. Come on, give me the. Come on, somebody give me the link. God fucking damn it, where is it? Give me a link. This is embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie.
How many liberals does it take? You don't like capitalism, yet you exist. iPhone, Venezuela, bottom text, 100 billion dead.
The entire video. Thank you, Ramka. Thank you, Vuvuzela, 400 bits. To that book of communism, victims of communism. The victims are Hitler, Mussolini, and Tsar Nikolai II. Exactly.
You know, more than World War I and World War II combined. So that ideology was pretty hellacious.
Yeah, to say the least. Okay, so, and I think it's very naive not to assume that the events that we described in Marx's life are not connected. Right.
Yeah,
right.
correct.
And that his economic polemics were somehow independent of his poetic imagination. It's like, obviously they weren't, because they wouldn't have had that motivational force. So they were calling on dark forces, obviously. So
Polako, stay safe and don't worry. You will be missed, but check us out on the other platforms.
Because otherwise they wouldn't have
Thank you for being here.
compelled people in that manner, especially not toward that sort of immense sadistic murderousness and utter destructiveness.
And of course, get to the hatred of God, which all the communists did. So all the communists thereafter seek to ban religion.
Right. Atheists.
That's
They're
right.
not exactly atheists,
Yeah,
because they're trying to stomp something out.
Seem to question the direct relation between capital and organized religion, which was the case in most of the places at that time, in which they instilled local revolutions and were some of the greatest supporters of the reactionary cause in said places. Nothing to do with God, and had everything to do with their interpretation of their relationship to capital. But obviously a lot of imbecilic fucking communists from all over the world took this to an extreme and adopted the militant atheism as a core principle of Marxism, which it to an extent never was and never should be, because even if we leave morality or the respect of other people's cultures and religious beliefs aside, it's just an impractical mode that unites people against you who would have otherwise very much been supporters of your cause away from your cause. It's just dummy dumb shit. Thank you, Ramka. Again, all communists seek to ban religion. Before the revolution, Jews weren't allowed to move beyond their district in Russia just for practicing Judaism. Exactly. But no. We don't talk about this.
That's right. It's not a
neutrality.
That's right. It's not a neutrality toward religion. It's not irreligion. It's not separation of church and state. It is militant, aggressive atheism. Trotsky and Lenin create the League of the Militant.
Oh yeah, like in absolutely every state that has ever existed in the history of mankind, where a particular ideological or religious group has always done its best to completely exterminate everybody who belongs to another religious group or religious interpretation of the same religion, etc., etc. This has just been the common direction in which all fucking states have gone in since inception of religion. Okay. And because the Marxists, during those same eras of let's call it misinterpretation to an extent, might have dedicated themselves to a similar cause, was a direct consequences of just, how religious organizations treated each other. And the so-called atheist project adapted that to itself and then quote-unquote oppressed others, even though very much so in the Soviet Union argument can be made that the very groups that the Orthodox majority was oppressing were liberated because the Orthodox hierarchy was no longer allowed to hold so much state power. Thank you very much, Yana Gibashi, for the gifted sub, and to the legendary Anar Charlie Marks for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very, very much, Anar Charlie. That's the 16th gifted sub. Thank you very much, Based.
And godless.
Right.
They ban religion. They have the Moscow church trials. They blow up churches. They jail priests, right? The Solzhenitsyn writes in the Gulag Archipelago, they put nuns in special sections of the Gulag with prostitutes.
Yes, right.
Deem them whores
yes,
to Christ.
Absolutely.
Lenin said, all worship of a divinity is a necrophilia. There is nothing more abominable than religion.
Yeah.
So they don't just try to stop religion. They want Pol Pot, the Buddhist monks in Cambodia,
Yeah.
to renounce their vows, to marry.
Pol Pot mentioned we just need Vuvuzela, and we had 100 billion. We had Pol Pot. We had Satanism. Can't wait for the next hot take.
It's not enough for them to be quiet. And so
Well,
after
I don't
years,
know how you can separate a militantly anti-religious atheism from especially, say, within a Christian context, from something approximating satanic ideology, because I don't see how conceptually that separation is possible. It's one thing to be atheist in the manner that leaves people to go to hell in a handbasket in their own way, but to be...
I would love to ask these guys what they think about, for example, the complete annihilation and mass murder of Native Americans and their religious beliefs by the so-called enlightened Christian Europeans. I mean, I know what they're gonna say. All non-monotheistic religions are de facto worship of the devil, and therefore must be annihilated at its boot, at its core. But let's not talk about this. Thank you, Romco 100 bits. Scary communists are persecuting priests, the poor church that owned fucking whole villages and carried out a fuckload of administrative tasks of the state. Yeah, and I myself, I'm an Orthodox Christian. I'm an Orthodox Christian. And what was done to the majority of those in power in the Orthodox Church, both in the Balkans and in Russia, including also the Catholics and the Muslims, etc., etc. I'm talking about two of those cases were absolutely, to a very large extent, on point, because they were directly linked to the sources of power and to capital. But then that was taken on steroids, and for example, examples like Afghanistan were absolutely disgusting, where the local communists were fucking, I don't know, burning Qurans, which even they completely forgetting about liberal moral sensitivities or respect of the other, etc., were just strategically imbecilic. And that allowed the United States to quite literally repitch communism and never talk about the enlightened aspects of it when it comes to the discussion of class, for example, and only hyperfixate on, hey, if the communists come, they're gonna take your cross, which allowed for a lot of people to be dissuaded in their belief of Marxism. Not even dissuaded in their belief, they were dissuaded from even engaging in it at all. But it is one of the greatest L's of socialists ever to completely, it's none of your business, man. Spirituality is its own thing. Don't fuck with that. Just don't fuck with that. But think about it, whatever you want to think, because it is always going to be a secular state. But and socialism should always be secular, but let people worship whoever they want.
Actually, an enemy of the religious enterprise. That's a whole different thing.
It is.
So, and that obviously Marx and the communists were obviously that, clearly, obviously.
And Satan might say, I don't care if you believe in me or not. You're doing my work, man. You're shutting down churches, blowing up churches.
That also touches on the issue.
And I'm supposed to take these guys seriously while they're talking about Satan as a dude that's like, yeah, man, I fuck with the communists because they be blowing up churches.
Of what it means to believe, right? And I mean, you could imagine someone
these are supposed to be serious academics, and they'd be like, my boy Satan was speaking through the communists to blow up the churches.
Comparatively harmless, who toys with ritualistic satanic activities in a sort of dramatic manner. And then you could imagine someone who tortures nuns and priests and burns down churches, but forgoes any technical affiliation with Satan.
Right.
I would say that
and you think the same God that you believe in fucking loves that there are currently millions of children digging up fucking lithium so the rest of us can have fucking iPhones. You think God likes capitalism, the same God you respect so much? You think the Christian God likes capitalism? You think he fucks with capitalism? Whose very son, almost the only time in the fucking Bible, the only time when he engages in, one of the only times in active violence, is when he's beating the shit out of capitalists that have gathered outside of a temple. If we want to talk about not following God's path, what is a hyper-exploitative mechanism that causes the death of, unironically, 20 plus million people every year just from starvation? Just from starvation. Okay, if we agree, okay, Mark satanic. How are capitalists not? Jesus Christ. Speaking about satanic capitalism, they're about to pitch you a bunch of fucking ads about shit that you don't need in 30 seconds. Instead, support me in spreading the good old Lord's word, which is capitalism is not based, for $5 a month or for free through motherfucking Prime, or gift it to someone else. Thank you for considering joining the great Yugopnik Church. Thank you very much.
The latter is the Satanist in a much deeper sense than the former.
That's
Not
right.
that what the former is doing is excusable.
Yeah, or at least satanic.
Yes, right. But to do what the communists did to the religious enterprise is evidence of something far more militant than a mere atheism.
Oh, God. Jesus lost his shit on the moneylenders, yeah. The Bible is very anti-capitalist in parts, yes, it is. Look at what the Christmas capitalism has brought us. Talk to me about a incredibly disgusting misinterpretation of the birthday of what is supposed to be the human and deity mixage, which is the Lord Jesus Christ introducing to us principles that have nothing to do with, that have everything to do with everything except the right of one man to exploit another. And then look at what Christmas is today. If there is any fucking symbolism about the continuous and absolute annihilation of quote-unquote core Christian principles, it is the way we celebrate Christmas today, which is buy shit, consume many things. He has Jordan Peterson doesn't give a fuck about. He only gives a fuck about praising some fictitious guy he defines as Satan, but gives absolutely no fucks about literally the OG of gods, the only one that matters today, the one at whose altar the vast majority of people pray, and to whose altar they have rejected their previous gods, and that is money. Good old money. More and more and more, and eat and consume and get, and eat and consume and get. The antithesis to everything that most monotheistic religions tell us is the worst direction we can go in as a society. The altar of capital. But he never talks about it because he doesn't give a fuck about the abandonment of God. If he cared about the abandonment of God, then this would be something that he screams about on the daily. But no, this man cares and worships the same God of capital, and therefore cannot find it in himself to criticize him. Thank you very much, Gabriel Hellborn, for another gifted community sub. Thank you very much, Mother Nature showing off for another 5 gifted subs. Fucking base. That is their 5th gift sub. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Romka for the 100 bits. Everybody supporting for the great Israeli army. No fucking ads in chat for the 100 bits. He even said religious enterprise because it's a fucking enterprise at this point. It's a legal mafia if you speak about the Catholic Church. Yes, don't even... Yeah. He probably doesn't even have very positive opinions on the current Pope, who is far more progressive than those who came before him. So since we're on the topic of the absolute, eternal, and only dominating, the word they'd like to throw at our Muslim brothers and sisters in NB's jihadist religion of the day, and that is consumerism. That is finding your identity in the things you buy. So it's a perfect segue into exactly this. From our changing climate, the real trap of consumerism. Let's watch this. I'm dodging those gifted subs like Neo be dodging bullets
Wonderful,
in Matrix.
a new child soldier. I mean,
And then
subscriber.
immediately, that's why I love chat. And then immediately honor Charlie Marks, gifted Mehmed the gift sub, fucking legendary. Oh, such a wholesome chat. I love you fuckers. Okay.
Classy moment. A chance to buy something is at your finger.
But yeah, I hope you got my fucking previous point. Which again is simple. If these guys cared about the Lord, if they cared about God so much, they would talk a lot more about the one thing that is replacing people's dedication to God, and that is people's dedication to capital accumulation.
Fingertips.
Maybe instead of consumerism and capitalism, we should call it satanopolism, and then they will care.
That new pair of pants you just saw on Instagram, the latest gaming PC that your favorite streamer uses, or the newest line of Teslas to make you feel like you're saving the planet, all bombard you with visions of what you could be. In the Imperial core, buying things has become the stuff of life. To feel good, you shop. If you're bored, you browse things to buy. If you want to be ethical, you don't stop buying. You just need to find the right brand to buy.
Buy the right thing to buy. Actually save the planet by buying the right things. Indeed, indeed, indeed. The only thing which you are not allowed to do is stop buying, never stop buying, never stop buying.
Seemingly, our whole lives are wrapped up in the vicious cycle of working all day and then spending all of our money to fill the void in our lives.
For your identity is no longer of that of a worker, but of that of a consumer. Remember, the consumer is always right, both when you service him with your long, lubricated tongue of sucking, or when you're the consumer yourself, and then you get to expect to be sucked off. In very disgusting terminology. They basically told us, yo, it's okay for you to be stepped on when you're servicing a customer, because you get to leave work and then step on somebody else. That's the pitch, and we all jumped at it, and we're like,
Wonderful,
fuck yes.
a new child soldier.
Fuck yes.
I mean,
get
subscriber.
to stomp half of my day and get stomped on the other half. That sounds like a base system to me. But because of the failing rate of profit and other direct contradictions of capitalism, we no longer can even do that. For now, you get stomped on at work, and then you aren't able to afford to stomp on somebody else. Thank you very much, Drano2458 for the sub. Thank you very much. 8s always look like B's to me. I can't fucking pronounce them.
Consumerism is a problem that runs rampant in imperialist countries like the United States. It's right up in our faces at every moment. It can be easy to see this conspicuous spending and claim that overconsumption is the source of many of our environmental problems. Consumers are, after all, the ones making the choices at the checkout counter. They're the ones voting with their dollars. But today we're going to dive into this mistaken worldview. Consumerism is not the problem. It's a trap. It's a symptom of a much larger and more insidious problem of capitalism that lurks in the shadows. Today, we look at the real problem with consumerism and how we really combat the out-of-control waste and accumulation of stuff. This video is made possible by my amazing viewers who support me on Patreon. Over the last 2 years, my revenue from...
Please, OCC is a dear friend of the channel. If anybody has not subscribed or watched their stuff, please look at the link pinned above and go and support this lovely creator who, for some reason on this channel, I hadn't subbed. They were even on the D program. Very, very cool motherfucker.
Ads and sponsorships have dropped substantially. So much so that if this trend continues, making videos like these will become less and less financially viable, which is why I need you. Our Changing Climate will always be free for everyone regardless of how much I make. But OCC is a one-person operation, and it would be nice to earn enough to pay for rent and my health insurance, both of which seem to grow yearly. So if you've been a long-time viewer or just stumbled across this channel, thank you so much for watching, and please consider supporting Our Changing Climate on Patreon with the link in the description or on screen right now. Just $1 a month from a small portion of my audience would be huge for the channel and, to be honest, me.
Sick. Thank you, Ronk 100 bits. I wish we watched the video titled The Trap of Communism instead of Consumerism. Yeah. Send me. I love reacting to chuds, man. I love reacting to chuds. And Tucker was like my go-to, but now he started making these 1 hour and a half fucking interview videos, which is like, fuck me in the ass. I don't want to do that shit.
Spend enough time on the internet and you're bound to buy something. How could you not when Amazon offers free shipping and an option to click just one button to speed you through the checkout process? Or when the new online marketplace Temu offers rock bottom prices for basically any good you could ever want. Consumerism in the US has risen precipitously, with total retail sales more than doubling since 2013. Indeed, the percentage of households with 2 or more cars has increased dramatically from 22% in 1960 to 59% in 2020, while the average home size expanded by 149% from 1,595 square feet to 2,383 square feet in 2022. And when families run out of space to put all of their stuff, they've turned to storage units. In the United States, an estimated 14.6 million households rent additional storage to keep all of their additional stuff.
I mean, I played this to some chatters, so it might be like
I would have been out here a little bit.
Literally, like, best explanation of ultra heavy-handed obsession with, well, stuff. And this is from what? This is from 1968. Nothing changes, man. From 1968. I'll replay it. Some of you might have watched it, but I think it's worth it.
Sooner, but they gave me the wrong dressing room, and I couldn't find any place to put my stuff. And I don't know how you are, but I need a place to put my stuff. So that's what I've been doing back there, just trying to find a place for my stuff. You know how important that is. That's the whole meaning of life, isn't it? Trying to find a place for your stuff. That's all your house is. Your house is just a place for your stuff. If you didn't have so much goddamn stuff, you wouldn't need a house. You could just walk around all the time. That's all your house is. It's a pile of stuff with a cover on it. You see that when you take off in an airplane and you look down and you see everybody's got a little pile of stuff. Everybody's got their own pile of stuff. And when you leave your stuff, you gotta lock it up. Wouldn't want somebody to come by and take some of your stuff. They always take the good stuff. They don't bother with that crap you're saving. Ain't nobody interested in your 4th grade arithmetic papers. They're looking for the good stuff. That's all your house is. It's a place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. Now, sometimes you've got to move. You got to get a bigger house. Why? Too much stuff. You've got to move all your stuff. And maybe put some of your stuff in storage. Now imagine that. There's a whole industry based on keeping an eye on your stuff. Enough about your stuff. Let's talk about other people's stuff. Did you ever notice when you go to somebody else's house, you never quite feel 100% at home? You know why? No room for your stuff. Somebody else's stuff is all over the place. And what awful stuff it is. Where did they get this stuff? And if you have to stay overnight at someone's house, you know, unexpectedly, and they give you a little room to sleep in that they don't use that often, someone died in it 11 years ago, and they haven't moved any of his stuff. Or wherever they give you to sleep, usually right near the bed, there's a dresser, and there's never any room on the dresser for your stuff. Someone else's shit is on the dresser. Have you noticed how their shit is stuff and your stuff, their stuff is shit and your shit is stuff? Notice that their stuff is shit and your shit is stuff. Get that off of there. Now, sometimes you go on vacation, you gotta bring some of your stuff with you. You can't bring all your stuff, just the stuff you really like. The stuff that fits you well that month. Let's say you're gonna go to Honolulu. You're gonna go all the way to Honolulu. You gotta take 2 big bags of stuff, plus your carry-on stuff, plus the stuff in your pockets. You get all the way to Honolulu and you get in your hotel room and you start to put away your stuff. That's the first thing you do in a hotel room is put away your stuff. I'll put some stuff in here, put some stuff down there. Here's another place for some stuff here. I'll put some stuff over there. You put your stuff over there. I'm putting my stuff over here. Here's another place for some stuff. Hey, we got more places than we've got stuff.
We gotta get more stuff.
We're gonna have to buy more stuff. And you put all your stuff away, and you know that you're thousands of miles from home, and you don't quite feel at ease, but you know that you must be okay because you do have some of your stuff with you. And you relax in Honolulu on that basis.
Holy shit, I think I can quote most of it. Wait.
That's when your friend from Maui calls and says, hey, why don't you come over to Maui for the weekend? Spend a couple of nights over here. Oh, shit. Oh.
Now what stuff do I bring?
Now what stuff do you bring?
Oh my god, I can quote it.
Right, you've got to bring an even smaller version of your stuff. Just enough stuff for a weekend on Maui. And you get over, and you're really spread out now. You've got shit all over the world. You've got stuff at home, stuff in storage, stuff in Honolulu, stuff in Maui, stuff in your pockets. Supply lines are getting longer and harder to maintain. But you get over to your friend's house in Maui and they give you a little place to sleep and there's a little window ledge or some kind of a small shelf and there's not much room on it, but it's okay because you don't have much stuff now. And you put what stuff you do have up there. You put your imported French toenail clippers, your odor readers with the 45-day guarantee, your cinnamon-flavored dental floss, and your Afrin 12-hour decongestant nasal spray. And even though you're a long way from home, you know that you must be okay because you do have your Afrin 12-hour decongestant nasal spray. And you relax in Maui on that
basis.
That's when your friend says, hey, I think tonight we'll go over the other side of the island, stay at my friend's house overnight. Oh, shit, no. No! What do you bring? Now you just bring the things you know you're gonna need. Money, keys, comb, wallet, lighter, hanky, pen, cigarettes, contraceptives, Vaseline, whips, chains, whistles, dildos, and a book.
Oh, one of the best pieces of comedy of all time, dude. My boy, the disentangled capitalism in a fucking 5-minute pitch, and some chud still think he's their guy. That's fucking amazing.
This generates the self-storage industry. States an estimated 14.6 million households rent additional storage to keep all of their additional stuff. This generates the self-storage industry $29 billion in revenue every year. And all of this growth hasn't been to accommodate larger families, because the average family size has actually decreased by 16% from 1980. And this expansion of consumption has had disastrous effects on the environment. Despite being home to just 5% of the world's population, the United States consumes 15.7% of the world's total fossil fuel energy. In the United States, between 30 to 40% of food gets wasted through a combination of on-farm loss, transportation, store overstocking, and lack of at-home planning.
But remember, that is a system unlike any other. A system that truly feeds us. A system that truly takes care of us. And most importantly, children, do not forget, for it is the market, and the market only, that has efficiency. 30 to 40%. 40% of your fucking food goes to waste. Dude, if 4 was going to waste, that would be defined as inefficient in any fucking industry. But no, here it's good because it's natural.
Average American emits 14.9 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent every year, which is more than triple that of the global average of 4.7. Yet despite unprecedented consumption rates and a glut of almost every gadget and appliance imaginable flooding the market, people in the United States aren't that happy. According to the General Social Survey, only 25% of Americans are satisfied with their life, a percentage that slowly declined since the 1970s and plummeted during the pandemic. In part, this is due to the vast inequality.
So the distributive system of the economy is not working. People are not actually happy or satisfied with their lives in this particular system. And even the consumerist aspect of their society is slowly dying down because people can afford less and less. The size of families is also decreasing, the very same thing that conservatives are telling you is the most important aspect of the American life. And you're supposed to tell me that things are working correctly, that things are working fine, that a conversation about an alternative system is somehow radical and unhinged and utopian, etc., etc. My dude, how is it utopian to not want to live in a dystopia?
qualities that cleave the United States. As some fill up their oversized homes and storage units with stuff, many struggle to survive. Over 42 million people rely on food stamps to put food on the table, while more than 650,000 people experience homelessness across the country. As the famous quote from economist William Gibson goes, "The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed." Even for those who do enjoy excessive and conspicuous consumption of the newest Tesla or Apple's $3,500 Vision Pro, more consumption and more income don't necessarily...
Kubashi, I mean, capitalism works just not how we would want. Exactly, that is a very good point. This is not capitalism in crisis. This is not capitalism in error. This is it just working. This is how it's intended to work. And this is how it's going to continue working in the future. Sure, you can stop it, give it a little pause here and there with a reform here and there, but you're just like putting Band-Aids on a tumor, okay? Speaking of putting Band-Aids on a tumor, in exactly 1 minute, an ad is going to play. If you would like to put a Band-Aid on that and stop it for a little bit, do consider becoming a sub for $5 a month for free through Prime. I'm going to talk shit about consumerism, but not about consuming Twitch content as a good little hypocrite while you give me your $5 or for free through Prime or gift it to somebody else, because I'm a disgusting communist hypocrite on the internet that wants to use the very same capitalist mechanisms to live a decent life while shit-talking capitalism.
Wonderful.
And I
A
will
new child
always
soldier.
state this,
I mean,
and I will
subscriber.
always embrace it, because if the capitalists are willing to pay me money, or if you are willing to support me so that I shit-talk them, I will take that money gladly and spend half of it on myself and half of it on elongating and increasing my voice and my platform. And thank you very much, Revni, for the sub through Prime, starting and supporting that exact non-hypocritical, hypocritical stance.
lead to more happiness, a phenomenon that has been deemed the Easterlin paradox, a concept that claims that after basic needs are met, economic growth and higher incomes don't necessarily lead to greater happiness. With all this in mind, it's clear that the capitalist hub of the world is on a dangerous path, a path that is not only leaving us overworked, in debt, and unhappy, but is also driving us headlong into a ruinous collision point. Paraphrasing scholar Timothy Jackson, Diana Stewart and fellow researchers write in a paper that considering the biophysical limitations of the Earth, extreme resource and material consumption on a finite planet means it is not a matter of if the economy will contract, but when. In short,
exactly when. Thank you very much, good Lenin, for the resub. Didn't even realize the resub. Thank you. And thank you, Drano2458, for the gifted sub, supporting my eternal internal hypocrisy. And now the choo-choo-cha-cha, the fucking choo-choo train of consumerism has begun. If we reach level 5, this choo-choo train will recreate itself into a meteor and proceed to fall on both Benjamin Netanyahu's house and many other houses, while supporting the great Israeli economy of the great gooner state of the future. For all gooners deserve a homeland, and to that homeland they must drive in trains, hype trains, level 5 hype trains.
The imperial core is consuming far more than is sustainable for human well-being and the planet. But is consumerism really the problem? Are the consumption habits of the masses really the driving force between our environmental and social ails? These are the crucial questions, ones that hand us the keys to what Karl Marx calls the hidden abode of production.
Yes.
Behind every dollar spent on that butter melter you saw on TikTok or that automatic pot stirrer you saw on Instagram lies a corporation, a company eager to offload its product into your hands to generate profit. The core engine of capitalism is its constant demand for capital accumulation. Capitalists must incessantly expand their productive capacities through new technologies and decreasing labor costs to create the most commodities for the lowest prices. If they fail to do so, they get...
And immediately we get a great support from our great Xi Jinping, CCPP, in my mouth. Thank you very much, Anonymous Gifter. As we all know, whenever an Anonymous Gifter gives us anything here, it is literally Xi Jinping himself that has given it. And we must salute our great CCPP, which we would like to have in our mouth. Thank you very much, CCPP. Let me see some salutes in chat, motherfuckers. 北见经呢，各名江山上的中间。Thank you very much to Romka for 100 bits. The fucking butter melter from TikTok. Such a beautiful gizmo, right? You can't melt butter any other way. And thank you, Kid Lizard, for the 20 bits.
Get eaten alive by other, more capable owners who've managed to create more products at cheaper prices. This process of constant accumulation and expansion creates overproduction. Production that generates piles of commodities that must be sold to the masses to continue the cycle of capital accumulation. Because exchanging products for even more money is essential to complete the last leg of the money invested into commodities and sold for even more money cycle, also known as MCM. In a sense, consumption is a release valve of production. It expands and contracts, but never creates the flow of goods. As scholar Alan Schneiberg notes, consumption cannot be the leading factor in the expansion of production. Increased consumption may permit expanded production, but it does not generally cause it. Unrestrained capitalist production, then, is the root cause of what we see as the ails of consumerism, according to the average person living in the capitalist stronghold of the United States.
Thank you very much to the legendary Pokemon Singing Kumina for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very, very much, making the hype train go even more choo-choo-choo-choo. For it will grow to the great size which needs to transport all the subs, also known as the Gunnar Squad, to their promised homeland of Israel. We need trains, we need logistics, and this is what allows them to exist. And thank you very much, Punisons, for the 100 bits as well, helping funnel the fuel on which, the green fuel on which those trains shall go choo-choo-choo-choo.
States, and indeed most economists, however,
Thank you, Singing Kumina, again.
Corporations are merely responding to consumer demand. This is a skewed view of reality. The true culprits of all the stuff in our house.
Romka Techno Lending, I have that one Soviet washing machine that still works, and it was even built in the years of the revisionist rotting of the Union. Yeah, my grandparents have like a fridge that's been made like 1,000 years ago. Thank you very much, Knife Emoji, getting closer and closer to that level 5. Thank you very much for the gift sub.
Most economists, however,
I love my Oilers, man. My Oilers go choo 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 choo, baby.
However, corporations are merely responding to consumer demand. This is a skewed view of reality. The true culprits of all the stuff in our houses, in our landfills, and in our atmosphere is overproduction. Companies like Best Buy, for example, supply a false freedom when you walk into their store. The range of brands and products on their shelves might make you feel like you have freedom of choice, but in reality, you are only served cameras, laptops, or phones that generate profit or allow corporations to stay competitive.
Thank you, Drano, for another gift sub, second gift sub of today. Thank you very much. And the hype train has completed level 3. We are now trying to hit level 4 and lead our great peoples to the promised Gunnar nation of Israel. Thank you very much, Terkas, for also contributing with a gift sub. Let's fucking go. The hype is real.
Factors that are often determined much more by labor costs, raw materials, and transportation logistics than consumer demand. In the housing market, for example, most people want affordable, comfortable living spaces. Yet the buildings developers construct are often luxury condos or turnkey mansions, dwellings that are unaffordable for the majority but rake in extensive profit for real estate companies. So capitalists produce goods based on factors outside of the realm of consumerism. That being said, they still need people to buy their stuff. To complete that cycle of money, commodity, more money, capitalists must sell their products on the market to the masses, regardless of whether their products have actual use or not. So instead of focusing on producing things that are actually useful and necessary, capitalism has built a massive apparatus that manufactures false needs and desires.
Exactly, and you expand their false needs and desires so that you can sell them items that they previously did not interpret as what they need, because those very same overproduced, let's call them items that make more profit for you, So you change people's very ideas of what they need so that they buy stuff that they now think they need, which will make you more money. Basically, overtly complicated way of saying that it doesn't actually, the market system doesn't actually provide you with shit that you need. It changes your notion and your idea of what you need so that it can extract maximum value from you both as a laborer and a consumer. Basically doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And thank you very much, Drano, again. Thank you, Terkas, for the gifted sub. Thank you for Nebdi for continuing their sub through Prime and Gift. Thank you very, very much. Very close to that beautiful, beautiful level 5 choo-choo train of manufactured subscription to the eternal consumer lobby of Twitch streamers, baby.
Here lies the true trap of consumerism. To assure the continued success of their businesses, capitalists manufacture desires and needs. We believe that it is wholly inherent wants, needs, and desires that are driving our consumption, that it is human nature, when in fact corporate forces are constantly whispering in our ear, consume, consume, consume. In 1919, Henry...
That's the ultimate, like, the greatest, one of the greatest lies ever told, that it is human nature that you want to have more than your neighbor, that you want to dominate, etc., etc. You have been brainwashed in wanting more than your neighbor. You have even been brainwashed in what it means to want to have more than your neighbor. And when it comes to having more than your neighbor, fucking C-Blob up in here really went in and said, I can give more than any of you motherfuckers. 10 gifted subs, thank you very much. An extension of exactly what we are talking about here. And I'm shooting myself in the foot by talking shit to literally the biggest oiler of the day, C-Blob, by saying, hey, all of you gifters, look at you. I am a bigger gifter than you. My identity of supporting streamers more than your identity of support is bigger than your identity of supporting streamers. Therefore, I'm a better guy. I'm a better human being. And you objectively are. Thank you very much, because here there's no advertising. I tell you how it is.
Wonderful.
And the level 5 has been
soldier.
reached. Therefore, the train shall be fueled, and they shall ride all the great gooners of the world to our promised Israeli state after we take over Great Britain, purify it of the non-class conscious Britons that we will export over to the United States, and fill it with gooners and gamers and Twitch streamers of the great Israeli state. Thank you, Krasmazov, as well. Very interesting name for the subscription through Prime. Krasmazov, wasn't that from Disco Elysium, like the Karl Marx of Disco Elysium? Tell me if I'm incorrect. But no, seriously, thank you, C-Blob. Thank you very much for the 10 oils, and thank you, Krasmazov, as well.
Henry Ford and his fellow capitalists
respect. Thank you, guys. Genuinely.
We're scared. A rising insurgence of anarchist and socialist movements seized the hearts and minds of Americans across the country. Labor strikes, walkouts, and protests seeking a better workplace threatened to disrupt the profit-making machines of Ford's car-making factories. Then Ford had an idea, a double-edged sword wielded against the worker to maintain the status quo. Ford and his fellow industry leaders, as one paper describes, decided to reduce the chances of a worker rebellion by giving workers increased wages, bank credit, and more leisure time, all for the purpose of encouraging increased rates of consumption. As we've already seen, producers...
They realized that if they balance out how much they pay you and how much you can consume, they will also increase their profits. But unfortunately, because of the falling rate of profit, eventually that will not be sustainable, because the worker eventually cannot make as much as things cost. Because as we've seen, the median salary has not really increased over the last 50 to 60 years, not realistically, and yet executive compensation has, and prices have fucking skyrocketed. So even this argument that Ford put forward is no longer sufficient for the self-sufficiency of this disgusting non-self-sufficient system, if you know what I mean.
Required the endless consumption of their commodities to stay competitive and profitable within a capitalist market system. Capitalists must keep consumers on an endless treadmill of consumption to reap maximum profit and continue accumulating capital. This leads to the real trap of consumerism, the manufacturing of what Marxist scholar Herbert Marcuse deemed false needs. To offload all of the useless gadgets, new
and you don't fucking need Marcuse, bro. You don't need my boy Herbert. Just look at a syllabus of a business school The first thing they taught us in marketing is a difference between wants and needs. And they literally tell you, they literally tell you, if you want to have a successful business, you need to constantly be creating new wants for people that will overshadow their actual real needs, because that is the only way you change what is actually demanded. If you get to learn anything from this fucking stream, it is that. Okay? Demand and supply is a fucking meme.
Iterations of the same tech and just general junk onto the masses, capitalists have to make us believe that we actually need the latest iPhone or the slap chop or that latest TikTok trend, rather than just want it. This is where the vast apparatus of advertising comes into play. With ads like this.
Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me.
And this.
Making new traditions. Sharing old stories. That's my recipe for magic.
Companies assign emotional value and meaning to objects whose actual value stems from the labor and raw material costs needed to make that product. This process not only obscures exploitative practices employed during production, but also allows companies to set higher prices.
Thank you again to all beautiful chatters for the level 6 hype train. You motherfuckers are legends. Thank you everybody who participated and everybody who hyped it up. Thank you very much.
Because the commodity is now imbued with certain politics and values. Tesla has been extremely effective at this task. Its brand imbues its cars with ideals of luxury, clean, and sustainable futurism. These values, in turn, mask the exploitative practices throughout Tesla's supply chain. Fellow YouTuber Yugopnik cheekily describes this process of value.
Wait, what the fuck? 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 I swear on my mother, I did not know this. What the fuck? What? Fuck you, man. Lord. Oh, my Lord. Oh, okay, this feels good.
Throughout Tesla's supply chain. Fellow YouTuber Yugopnik
that's one of my oldest fucking videos. Holy shit. Look at the fucking emote.
Cheekily describes this process of value formation through the example of a chocolate bar.
Advertisers consciously understand that purchasing patterns directly correlate to personal values. Therefore, the chocolate bar becomes a locally grown, eco-friendly, soy-infused chocolate bar with a hipster biodegradable wrapper, and from whose every purchase 2 cents go to starving Sri Lankan children. Now, what's the actual difference between this world-saving chocolate bar and just a chocolate bar? Almost none. Made in the same factory with the same ingredients and for the same profit motive.
In short, the advertising industry...
Fucking... Monk is strong. This is some fucking digital. This is some content inception, bro. Holy fuck!
Works tirelessly to wrap products in values like happiness, power, connection.
I made this like 5 years ago, man. I've been talking about this almost half of my life. I'm 10 years old, by the way. They just feed us insane food here in the Balkans. I'm actually 10. I am actually 10. Which actually goes against Twitter TOS, so no, I'm actually 50.
Or sustainability, because they...
Yugopnik, a man known to be somewhere in the age between 5 and 55.
They know it's much easier to sell a product to someone based on appeals to their principles, rather than just describing the utility of the commodity. This value generation apparatus, otherwise known as the advertising industry, has become an essential lever in the capitalist machine. Advertising revenue has nearly doubled since 2012, with spending on digital display advertising in just the US alone reaching $63.5 billion in 2022. But in the age of social media, it's not just advertisements directly from companies that are pushing us to buy to boost our happiness or save the planet. Your favorite streamer or Instagram star is constantly influencing you to buy stuff, regardless of whether they're paid to or not. Even I support myself through ad revenue, which I'll get to later on in the video.
Speaking of which, you could support me directly or by having to watch an ad and subconsciously thinking you need to consume that thing that they're going to play in exactly 1 minute and 40 seconds. So what are you waiting for? For $5 a month for free through Prime, avoid those pesky ads and support the show
directly. Thank you immediately to Ramka for 100 bits. The rakia has growth hormone in it. Tito was actually a 15-year-old child. Yeah. And there you go. Hey Hanchiro for the sub. Thank you very much for the 3rd month.
Wonderful. A new child soldier.
This has disastrous consequences for our mental health as we constantly strive to fulfill those false needs generated for us, especially as corporations wield algorithms and data collection to hone in on what product will best seduce you into buying. In essence, every day, a social media advertisement is placed in front of you with a product that you never even thought about buying. But because
Now it's additionally insidious because sometimes you don't even know that you're being pitched a product. Advertising has evolved massively. It's no longer just, what he showed with the nice Coca-Cola ad or, hey, Nike supports dudes who kneel against the flag, etc., etc. Now it's like your favorite masked dude with a cap on the internet screaming about communism to you, telling you that actually not even telling you, but like throughout the stream, Samsung would pay me, this is a Samsung phone, Samsung would pay me to very elegantly flip it off and be like, oh, hello, extremely sexy women that talk to me because I have phone which flips. How are you doing? Yes, I will see you later to show you how I flip on you, baby. Yes, indeed. If my phone can flip, what do you think my dick can do? And then just closes it. Obviously, this is a fucking idiotic example that I had to think of on the spot. But that's what they will do. They will just use a thing on screen, be it in a film or be it your favorite content creator, and you will not know it's an ad, but you're like, oh my God, that is such a base thing.
Because of data tracking and
immediately, I want a flip phone.
Algorithmic decisions, that product now wiggles its way into your head like an earworm, and you can't stop thinking about how your life would be better with those slippers or that new watch. As a result, the good life becomes synonymous with consuming things. Happiness is equated with having product.
And that is no longer something that can actually be. I'm not saying don't consume shit. That's fucking cringe. You know why it's cringe? Because you're already that guy. You're that guy. It's already in your brain. Your identity is already closely knit with what you're consuming and what you own and what you have, etc., etc. I'm wearing a fucking polo hat, and I'm a communist. I'm wearing a fucking polo hat. I'll tell you, I just bought a car that's all my friends are like, fucking idiot, like, the fuck? Even though I drove the same car for 12 years, right? Over 350,000 kilometers, right? So I was like, okay, I'm never going to tell you what I bought because you'll kill me, but I bought a decent car, right? And he was like, fucking champagne, which, okay, decent points. But I am a part of my environment, just like you are, just like all of us are. Because this is the only environment we've known. And people will judge you based on the shit you have. And you will judge yourself based on the shit you have. The only thing really that you can do is try to minimize it. Try to see how much of the stuff that's been brainwashed into your head are also things that you can kind of relatively enjoy, because all things have been brainwashed into your hand that you need except food, shelter, water, and maybe the internet, right? So the only thing you can do is question it as much as possible and only consume those things that after the hardcore questioning, you still feel like you should get. Because they're going to make you feel a bit less, shit. And like a better hierarchically placed individual in society. So do it like...
Wonderful.
There's
A new
no
child
shame.
soldier.
There's no
subscriber.
shame in a Gucci bag. You got enough money for a Gucci bag? You think a Gucci bag is going to make you feel better? Get a Gucci bag. I'm telling you, do it. God bless. Like, it's
Wonderful.
not on
A
you
new
as a
child
consumer
soldier.
take
subscriber.
all the weight of the world and limit your potential exploration of the self because it is a shitty system and you most likely been brainwashed into it. The problem is with the guys who are doing the brainwashing, right? Not you haven't been brainwashed. So don't shit on your friend for buying an obvious, like buying an iPhone every year. It's extremely stupid. They're absolutely brainwashed, but shit on Apple, right? Don't shit. You're literally shitting on the victim, like unironically. People who engage in consumerism and are brainwashed by it are victims of consumerism, of capitalist hyperproduction, of commodity fetishism, all of these fancy words. They are victims. So criticize the system, and as the system switches, we will no longer be obsessed with these things. But while in capitalism, that's where you're at. Okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, I'm basically saying the biggest cliche in the world, Kobashi, but that's the truth. That's the truth. Thank you very much, Romka, for 100 bits. At this point, ads is just a BMW car with a good shot of the logo in a Marvel movie. Unironically, yes. And thank you, Yana Gibashi, the fucking legend, for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you very much, Yana.
Even streaming services keep you hooked and numb with features like the autoplay button. It allows you to constantly...
Negotiating these things is challenging. Mama played Nintendo. It is. It is very challenging. And you should try to do it not out of not out of victim blaming yourself or others, but because you will not be wasting money. That is it. You're already brainwashed into wasting money for things you don't need. And the only thing you will ironically really succeed in getting from not spending your money for quote-unquote frivolous things is you will have more money for yourself, your family, your loved ones, etc., etc. That's literally what you get out of it. Fetishizing non-consumption and minimalism, etc., is literally the other side of the coin. It's capitalism convincing you that capitalism can go on as it is only if everybody was as enlightened of a minimalist as you are. They're literally selling, and then they'll sell you minimalist stuff. As I said in the quote, they want, like, you won't buy the fancy chocolate, you'll buy the chocolate that gives 2 cents on the dollar to Sri Lankan kids. Even though most likely the chocolate is being made by Sri Lankan kids. Thank you, Kid Litzo. Again, I'm reading some Che, and even he says boredom is of utmost importance for the sanity of the guerrilla fighters. Absolutely. Che wore a fucking Rolex. Che wore a fucking Rolex, okay? You think he didn't understand the hypocrisy, quote unquote, from like the reactionary perspective of him wearing a Rolex? Of course he did. Are you fucking insane? Of course he did. He was like, I want a fucking Rolex. I want a Rolex. And he got a fucking Rolex. God bless. You hate capitalism and yet you exist in it, but with a bit more of an analysis.
Consume content and search for that next dopamine hit, giving you a short-term high. But in the process, we stay up way too late, which leaves us tired and burnt out. In fact, in 2017, Netflix's CEO very bluntly
I find it to be my original allegory, not to pat myself on the back too much. But if you're doing okay in the system and you still hate it, it's okay. And the allegory for this is, does a soldier have to love war to be a good soldier? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Does a soldier have to love war to be a good soldier? Do you have to be a capitalist to be making it in capitalism? No, you don't. You quite literally only become a capitalist when you start exploiting others. Then we stop having a conversation unless you're funneling that surplus value into a socialist cause like Ankles did. That's literally the video I'm working on right now. It's going to be something clickbaity as fuck. Like most socialists you know are rich kids, like come from wealthy families, and you'll see in the video a lot of them were. Jesus Christ! Thank you, EcoWaves, the absolute fucking legend, for 10 gift subs. Thank you. EcoWaves, to this day, the biggest fucking dono, the ultimate nepo baby of this channel. Thank you, EcoWaves, very much for the 10 gift subs. Ain't nobody watching ads up in this bitch. Thank you.
Claimed that their biggest competitor was sleep. All of this advertising leads us to believe that the current system we live in actually benefits.
Che was not necessarily, Engels was the class trader, so was Che. Che, not really. He came from like a very middle class, blah, blah, blah. Not really. Fidel Castro was a pure class trader. Fidel Castro's dad, at that time, had $5.6 million. The guy had farms so big that they had their own stores and their own schools. Okay? Fidel Castro could have very much gone, oh no, my dad's privilege, I will just continue exploiting, etc., etc. Yet he gave all that away for the Cuban Revolution, right? You'll watch the video, you'll see. I'll probably get a little flack for it because fucking imbeciles that read Mao once. Mao's dad was a fucking loan shark landowner. Mao's dad was a loan shark landowner. Okay? It doesn't make you bad to come from money or to have made some money. That's liberal thinking. Please don't do that. Thank you, Romka, for the 100 bits. Vladimir Ilyich was literally from a decently wealthy family. Only because of that could he get a proper degree in law. Yeah. Use the goddamn fucking privileges you have to build something better. And don't just lament in them.
Benefits us. That keeping up with the Joneses, going deep into debt to buy a new car, or going on a shopping spree is the answer to our loneliness, alienation, and disconnection from the people and places around us. As Diana Stewart and her co-authors write, the ruling class, benefiting from the labor of others, perpetuates ideas that mystify, elude, and
By the way, before I forget, let's literally write, yo, legend was watching this on stream, and your quote of me from one of
Wonderful, a new
my
child
old
soldier,
videos
subscriber.
made me and chat lose our shit in a good way. Fucking legend. Thank you, EcoWaves, for another gifted sub. I'm stopping. EcoWaves, no more gifts from you. 11 is you're already at 220 gifted subs. I'm banning you. No more gift subs, EcoWaves. Okay.
deceive
and I'm not
workers
doing some reverse psychology here. EcoWaves, no more.
Into falsely believing that they benefit from the current system, can move up in the system, and have freedom in the system, as well as that no other system is possible. This is especially insidious in the realm of politics. Many of us have become so distant from the—
And to support EcoWaves and all the other gifters as well, let me do this. One moment. See if it works. And it worked.
Wonderful.
10 gift
A new
subs from
child
me.
soldier.
There you go,
Subscriber.
kids. Nobody watches ads up in this motherfucker. 10 gifts from me, myself, and I. Enjoy.
cogs of capitalist production, and so entrenched in this advertising ideology
Wonderful. A
that
new
often
child
political
soldier.
activism
Subscriber.
has been boiled down to voting with your dollars. This narrative is exactly what the fossil fuel industry has been hard at work creating for over 40 years through its popularization
Wonderful. A
of
new
carbon
child
footprints,
soldier.
recycling, and
subscriber.
individualization of action. When we as worker consumers
ExxonMobil literally were the guys that invented, the first guys that realized that
Wonderful.
the climate
A new
is
child
dying,
soldier.
and we need
subscriber.
to repitch to our consumers who they should blame for climate disaster instead of us. Should repitch to them that they should be blaming themselves and their consumer habits.
Wonderful. A new
So
child
the next
soldier.
time you
subscriber.
blame yourself for the planet burning, remember that the first guys who thought that up were the guys burning the planet. Okay, we're the guys burning the planet.
Wonderful. A
work.
new child
A
soldier.
BP, yeah,
subscriber.
BP Exxon fucking doesn't really matter, but yes, BP. Thank you, Jokula.
creating
Of course, a fucking Serb has to walk in here and correct me. Mahamuti yebim.
Wonderful. A new
for
child
over
soldier.
40 years through its
subscriber.
popularization of carbon footprints, recycling, and individualization of action. When we as worker consumers are placated into believing that the most effective
Wonderful. A
means
new
of
child
change is to
soldier.
transfer our
subscriber.
money from one capitalist to another,
As compared to transferring your money from one capitalist, your boss, to me, the streamer, that is based. That is very good.
Wonderful. A new child soldier. Subscriber.
the owners of production have won. They've distracted us from what's actually a threat to them. Collective organizing, labor agitation, union power, walkouts, and strikes.
Wonderful. A new
Activities
child
that directly
soldier.
disrupt the
subscriber.
cycle of capital accumulation. As scholar Douglas Kellner writes, capitalists wield image and spectacle to manipulate people into social conformity and into behaving in ways functional for the reproduction of capitalism. In essence, consuming not only perpetuates the—
What the fuck is Yugo Susi Walk? Wait, let me turn off the thing. Turn it back on. Close window. Turn it back on. I still can't see Yugo Susi Walk. Oh well. Wait, does it work now? Shit, doesn't work. Fuck. Am I fucking things up? Fucking things up. Okay, let's okay. Doom. Okay, now does it work? It works. Still can't see Yugo Susi walk. Strange.
Endless cycle of production and capital accumulation, but it also pacifies the masses by narrowing the possibility.
Ecowaves, goddammit! I'm gonna ban my biggest oiler. Ecowaves, thank you for the gift sub. What the hell?
Of a good life to the purchasing, having, and watching of more stuff. So if we know the root causes of consumerism, how then do we escape it? We already have the means and capacity to fulfill everyone's basic needs worldwide. Let that sink in. We already produce enough food to feed everyone globally, but we're wasting nearly a third of it. We already have the technology to create renewable energy for everyone on the planet, but we're nowhere near that level. We can build a world where everyone lives a good, meaningful, and environmentally ethical life. But that world will mean an end to shopping at Temu or Shein. It means no Amazon one-click purchases. It means an end to incessant advertising. And here...
Yes, but exactly, I agree with our changing climate, but that will happen as a consequence of a systematic change. You will no longer neither feel the need or like actually need to buy from Temu or from Amazon. Sure, yes, nationalize those institutions, use their resources to redistribute wealth, etc., etc. But you don't need like a policy that just kills them, because de facto you will no longer need them.
Is where I struggle. I am complicit in that manufacturing of consumer desire. My channel is run on the manufacturing of false needs. My livelihood is based on getting you to become a Nebula member or signing up for Ground News. Does it make it better if I actually like those services and use them? Or that Nebula is ad-free and based on membership revenue? I tell myself yes, because I live under this massive apparatus that is capitalism, but that doesn't feel good to me. Perhaps I could end YouTube ads if there was more Patreon support, but at this moment, it's not financially feasible. At the end of...
But even Patreon support, even you beautiful subs, like, let's be fucking honest here. You get exploited by your boss. You barely make any money because you're exploited by the owners, by your boss, to use simpler terms. And then you give me the money that you've earned after having been exploited by your boss. So I am in a different way participating in the same exploitative nature, because you would not have the money unless you also participated in capitalism. And then let's not even start talking about you guys from the first world that are quote unquote exploiting as labor aristocracy the rest of the world. You donating to me also participates in this shit. If we hyper focus on all of this, then we need to like embrace anarcho-primitivism and go live in a fucking forest. Like those of you here with diabetes should reject medicine for diabetes because it's developed by disgusting megacorps, right? Again, I'm not saying our changed climate isn't doing that at all, but doing so is literally blaming the victim. It's blaming the victim for having to survive in this stupid fucking system. Thank you for the 100 bits, Ramka, as always. I think that OCC is actually making it seem more scary than it is. It makes it seem as if a one-click Amazon purchase is such a great privilege. I think that feeds into right-wing cringe lord rhetoric to an extent. Yeah, he's trying to say that access to overconsumption is what is causing this, because it's being manipulated by said corporations, which also through advertising push you to overconsume, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, most likely in a well-structured, quote-unquote, state-run economy that maximizes the use of technology and state planning, et cetera, you will have even easier access to everything once it develops, obviously.
At the end of the day, I have no good answer to how to live under capitalism while also
reject insulin, embrace suffering only so that you can spite capitalism. Exactly.
So struggling against it. In a sense, this is capitalism at work. It insidiously corrupts the very messages of those working to dismantle it, blaming those who must live within it for living within it. But even if I did cancel all ads, my action would only be like spooning a small drop of water out of a vast ocean.
Exactly. Man, I fucking love our changing climate.
This is why we need more than just individual vote with your money approaches. Ideally, a mass revolution would upend our current capitalist system, and the adoption of full worker control of all companies and production would take root. Democratic planning through worker, consumer, and community councils would mean an emphasis on producing for actual planetary and personal needs rather than manufacturing false needs for profit. Of course, this kind of worker-led socialist economy could be a ways off in the future. We will need to build mass power globally if we are to see it come to fruition. This is why we need to employ non-reformist reforms like restricting and regulating advertising on the road to building that power. To beat back the manufacturing of false needs, we need to restrict the reach of corporations in our everyday lives. This could start as simply reinstating child advertising laws that were stripped away under the Reagan administration, or tamping down on social media and influencer marketing. We cannot sit by and simply hope that encouraging everyone to buy ethical, green, or just less stuff will somehow work to solve the multiple crises in front of us, especially as mass marketing and overproduction peck at individual consumers to buy. To truly escape the trap of consumerism, we must approach.
OCC went from an environmentalist centrist to legit anti-capitalist leftist is what I hope happens to every content creator. Every content creator that talks about societal ills and doesn't eventually become anti-capitalist is either a shill or an imbecile. There is no other path. Either too stupid to have class consciousness or understands that they can make more money by not talking about leftist politics. So never give them any fucking excuses. Give them patience, but no fucking excuses.
Approach the problem from the root. We must erode power through regulation and non-reformist reforms, and then eventually dismantle and reimagine the factories and offices of production that manufacture our desires. And on their rubble, build a world based on useful goods. A world where the stuff we make facilitates rather than alienates our connection to people and the planet. In an effort to depend less and less on YouTube ads and in-video sponsorships, I need your help. Recently, my revenue has been slipping because of a combination of demonetization and fewer sponsorship conversions. My wonderful Patreon supporters, however, have been keeping this channel and myself afloat. My Patreon supporters have given me financial consistency over the last 7 years so I can pay my rent and my ever-increasing healthcare premiums. So I'm turning to you, the wonderful people who watch my videos month in, month out. If you have the means, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon using the link in the description. Just pledging $1 a month is huge for the channel.
You have a link in the fucking chat. A link in the fucking chat. Please do consider supporting this brilliant man, okay?
And when you become a Patreon supporter, you'll get early access to all my videos ad-free, bonus content like a guided meditation from yours truly to calm your climate anxiety, or even the occasional full-length interview with authors or scholars. But if you aren't able to become a channel patron, please don't worry. Just by watching this video to the end, you've done your part. So thank you.
Like, don't you see how like disgusting the system is? Because right now, me calling on you to support this lovely human being quite literally lowers the chances of you potentially supporting me financially. That's so fucking dystopian, man. Jesus Christ.
Thank you so much to those who already support me on Patreon. You're the reason I'm able to make videos like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you next month.
Typically, I have...
Thank you very much to OCC, which is insane. I think back in my university, OCC was the name for like the guys that took care of the computers. We all hated them because the internet sucks, and I'm like OCC based. Oh, free market, baby. Right, Yana Gibashi? No ethical actions under capitalism. Go support OCC. Genuinely based. Very, very based. Or if you can't financially, obviously go subscribe. That's the least you can do. That's the least you can do. Over on YouTube, I mean, where it costs nothing. Okay, now we move into just cringe lord shit. Let's look at chuds with a friend of the show, Fillion. Alpha male meltdown. I mean, friend of the show, I never met the dude, but he's usually got good hot takes. So Please, mods, adjust le title, adjust the tit, just the tit right under my my video.
My finger on the pulse of alpha male content. I sit here, waiting like a vulture, ready to feast and convert cringe into ad revenue. But I've been sloppy because recently I missed a hilarious video of everyone's favorite Turbo Chad, Wes Watson, having a meltdown. Now, I'm familiar with his swag, but that's because I'm terminally online. For those of you who have the pleasure of not knowing who he is an ex-convict who did 10 years in the slammer for being too alpha. But since I don't suck off other men in my spare time, I couldn't tell you why he's famous. Actually, I can. Men are lost and they worship false prophets. They hopelessly cling to daddy figures on the internet, and he happens to be one of them. He sells courses and coaching and uses his allegedly fabricated tall tales of being a felon who's about that life to funnel sad boys into his grift. And most recently, he appeared on a panel in Miami, Florida to discuss the hard-hitting questions.
Hugo is my false prophet. False how, my child? For I do not show my face, for below it is the truth. Okay. I'm going to drink some religious people. I want to do that.
Associated with being a high-value male.
Oh, I'm so high value.
We're dealing with bug men.
How do you define success? And we'll start with Biame Kevo.
How did I find success?
How do you define success? What does that mean for you?
Success is, being free, being able to do what I want to do every day when I wake up.
For you?
Yeah, same thing. Being able to do what you want, when you want, and with whom you want, whenever you want to do it.
Imagine
kind of like the unironic goal of communism. Like unironically, the end goal.
Explaining to your girl, or boys even.
Hugo is my drinking sponsor. Imagine a worse one, bruv.
That you're attending this event. Grown-ass men handing over their hard-earned money just to listen to chuds who
say the most basic shit.
Who think Louis Vuitton is the definition of success.
To be honest, it's working in what you love,
Yeah, that's very stupid. Louis Vuitton is obviously not the definition of success. Gucci is the definition of success.
You gotta wake up and love your life. Just create that, that life you just want to live every day. You don't want to stop,
Wonderful.
Sometimes I don't want to sleep and I want to wake up earlier.
Subscriber.
Yeah, brother. It's about living a good life, brother. Thank you very much. Upstage Coronet for the resub. Thank you, brother, very much.
Because I live the life I want to live. I also with my wife, like I'm married but not trapped. It's not like I hide shit. It's everything is up front. Like I don't hide anything and I show everything.
What? The fuck did he just say?
In my definition of success is across the board. If you're not ripped, if you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't stand out, if you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean fucking shit to me.
Hell yeah. This is the cartoon character known as Wes Watson.
If you got straight tits and you're in your Rolls Royce, you look like a fucking clown to me.
Yeah, brothers. Yeah! The sun level's 4 degrees. Oh my god. If you're in a Rolls Royce and got tits, you're not successful to me. You gotta be ripped. You gotta have blue eyes. You gotta support a great leader, Adolf Hitler. Oh wait, no, that's a different stream. You gotta have gold-plated rims on the Rolls Royce, otherwise you're not real Rolls Royce fan. If your house isn't as big as like 100 houses, you're not the fucking good. You take the fucking metro. I own a fucking train, motherfucker. You have a boat. I have a boat that I can park another boat in, motherfucker. Oh god. You have tattoos. I have tattoos on top of tattoos. I have tattoos under my fucking eyelids, brother.
So, this is what people say. Oh, it's not about the money. It's about family, Wes. It's about this, about that. Motherfucker, when you're making money, it's about the money. When it's family, it's about family. When you're at the gym, it's about muscle. Whatever you're doing, it's about that.
But you gotta do all of them. You gotta do all the things. Remember, chat, you gotta do all the things. All the things you must do. Literally, you think of a thing, you must do the thing. World hunger, you gotta solve it, okay? The inequality in capitalist system, you must abolish it. Oh, Romka is always with 100 bits. Thank you, my legend. If your skull is not the right size, you're not successful, bro. Do we go to Auschwitz now? Zeke Heil.
There's no black and white life. It's the gray area. You have to be good at everything. That's the goal, to really excel in every area. I roll in most rooms with successful entrepreneurs, and it's pathetic.
How about before you start talking to people about having everything, you buy a pair of jeans that are actually intact, my dude.
I roll in most rooms.
My bro only lacking the fucking Ku Klux Klan hood to be rocking the OG uniform, bro.
With successful entrepreneurs, and it's pathetic.
This has to be the CEO of Yapology.
The CEO of everything, brother. Brother, if you do not literally do everything.
You never want to go yap for yap with Wes Watson.
I just can't get behind anything that's not done at a high level. So knock the one thing off the board first. Then the next.
You figgy. Ku Klux Klan.
Next thing, then the next thing. Jados is ripped, rich, and rare. I mean, the whole thing. What's rare mean to me? It means no vices. It means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit.
No vices. Previously talks about how you need to own more things, which is somehow not a vice.
Vices. Well, it sounds like he's a slave to money. Second of all, he seems to be lobotomized by his
Didn't pre-watch, I swear.
own steroid stack because...
Alexandra the Great, do you think that that guy has to stand in the center of the room not eating because of his white outfit? He can't lean or anything. I've worn a navy whites before, and it's not easy to keep that clean. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But no, you don't get it, Alexandra the Great. My boy fucking owns everything. He even owns dirt. He does not walk into a street or a room that isn't perfectly cleaned by at least 15 Filipino slaves, my sister. You know, it's got to be fucking perfectly clean. That is why he wears all white on him. Because that is the ultimate way he tests if the room he should be in is a room worthy of him. It is the ultimate tester. Okay.
Because they are drugs, but...
That Pandas, thank you for the 100 bits. Mom said it's my turn on the bits. Thank you, Pandas, you fucking legend.
He seems to forget that. Wes Watson is a 2016 alpha male Instagram post come to life.
I don't need you to be a billionaire to say you're rich, or other people, they'll see that even I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month. But they're like, you rent your...
Post come to life.
I don't need you to be a billionaire to say you're rich, or other people, they'll see that even I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month.
It really is the Ku Klux room, man. I'm so based that another man makes $95,000 off of my insane insecurities a month so that I can call myself successful. Sit down, F. I said sit down. Oh, you can't sit down because you're wearing all white. Well, you got me there, man.
But they're like, you rent your place. It's like, you dumb motherfucker. You don't understand how to even operate at my level. People don't buy a $24 million house. They buy $24 million worth of properties that would bring them more money. You don't dump all that into that.
Yeah, so that's an alpha. And what? The betas are the guys, I mean, correctly in capitalism, that what? That live in those houses and pay the alphas. How did he go from, like, you can't be successful if you have man tits and you're driving a Rolls Royce, into the ultimate definition of cuckoldry, which is renting?
Fucking liability and live in some $24 million pad you bought, stupid.
Stupid, dummy, clown.
But everybody thinks they know some shit. And if you don't have the results that I want in some area, I can't fucking listen to you. So most people, I won't listen to them. What are they going to tell me? Some motherfucker comes up to me at the gym and he's like...
They literally ask the guy, what is your definition of success? And he's just listing out every single insecurity he has on planet Earth, bro.
Like, hey, you should do your push-ups like this. And I say, why? So I can look like you, motherfucker? And the guy's like, oh, no, but like, it looks like you're going to hurt your... Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm end up with your chest if I do that shit. Why would I want that?
This is...
My definition of success is telling everybody they fucking suck dick, bro. Suck dick, bro. What are you, gay, bro? What are you, gay? What are you, a homosexual? You know that real men only have sex with themselves.
Gayer than Brokeback Mountain. In fact, this is more homoerotic than Saltburn.
Why am I making the same jokes as I swear I have not pre-watched this?
You don't get to have an opinion if it's not an option for you. You don't get to say my chick's BBL and her fake tits aren't for you. You couldn't get her, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, and you shouldn't give opinions about property when you're renting. Yeah!
You got a goddamn 3. And that's the worst thing about these motherfuckers. They try to
Man,
give you
good.
relationship advice. Motherfucker, you got a borderline Miami 2. That's like a fucking Mississippi 6.
His girlfriend, by the way, is a symbiote of Kim Kardashian, an influencer who went viral for having a meltdown on an airplane.
Call me a bitch again. Call me a bitch again. Yeah, I did nothing wrong. I said shut up. No, you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up and you're bitch.
A Balkan 4, bro.
You shut the
Sorry, engaging in a bit of misogyny, but if you're going to talk about how you need to have a really hot fucking girlfriend, a Balkan 4, okay?
I'm Instagram famous, you fucking bum.
Okay, no longer feel bad about calling her a 4, okay? Balkan 4.
Shut the fuck up.
She's flying with the peasants. He can't even afford to get her a private jet.
But this whole thing. People don't think I'm going to put the measuring stick to their motherfucking face.
Dude, and also like the bald buff. Dude, talking about Miami, come to Zagreb, Belgrade, Sofia, Skopje. Think you're fucking tough? A fucking 17-year-old that sells fucking H in one of our shitty fucking neighborhoods will cut your leg off and shove it up your fucking ass without even blinking twice just because you walked into the room wearing all fucking white, you cuck. Oh, Lord.
They better just watch what they say around a motherfucker who's beating them in every
I
area.
love American alpha men. They're my extra favorite because they would not be able to be a fucking what's the last letter Z man over here, bro. Oh, Jesus. Oh fuck.
And if someone is beating you, just ask them. Just be humble. Like, your bitch is better than mine. How'd you get her? That car's way more than mine. How'd you do it? You make more than me. What's up? Like, just fucking ask. And that's the thing. People aren't humble enough to ask. That's my shit. It's gotta be.
This man talking about being humble. The 95K a month apartment. Being humble. Thank you, Ram 100 bits. He said he will put a measuring stick to our face. Remember one Austrian painter that did the same. Yeah, we continue with the incredible allegories.
Be across the board.
You're telling me to unlock the inner secrets of becoming an alpha male, all I have to do is ask him? Then why even sell courses? It's because he's having a manic break.
And I love he's an ex-felon, right? What'd you get caught, cuck? Would you get caught, you rent cuck? Why'd you get caught? Alphas don't get caught, you rent cuck.
And he's full of shit.
You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better fucking be rolling some sick shit. That's what I like. I grew up hustling. There has to be rims on my goddamn Phantom. Go out front. That ain't normal Phantom. That's a Mansory Phantom.
He probably didn't buy it cash either. He probably didn't even buy it cash either. That's the best fucking. Your bank owns your fucking fandom and your fucking rims. Thank you very much, Creepy Zom, for the sub. Welcome, my beautiful child soldier.
I don't have the normal shit. Fuck that. Chicks got upgrades. Done.
Well said, Wes. God damn, with the fire.
Yeah! My boy! Doing fucking tricks on Wes Watson's bald dick.
My definition of success will probably be far different than everybody else's on the panel. I'll probably maybe be the lone dissenter, but my definition of success is having a family, having children, and being part of the apparatus of the world. And true wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul?
Man,
yeah, a normal guy enters the conversation. Just normal man. But he has tits. He does not pay $95K a month for a fucking apartment. And is not paying off a Rolls-Royce Phantom, bro. Thank you, Ramka, as always, for the 100 bits. The Phantom is probably a used one gotten with a loan of 1,000,000%.
You're a bro. Get a load of this guy. He actually just gave the most thought-provoking
What a fucking nerd, man.
and profound response.
Essentially, when I think of wealth, I think of materialism. It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
point.
Kind of is.
Brokey alert. You're broke. Poor. You're literally poor. You're a peasant.
You're trying to go for a single thing.
Young Girth Lord. Oh God, now that's an alpha name. My definition of success is being Elden Lord with a pure strength build.
And it's to achieve something.
My definition of success is nobody in chat watching ads and instead becoming a sub for $5 a month or for free through Prime. An ad will play in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. Are you a beta cuck loser ad watcher, or are you an alpha giga chad 95K a month rent paying YugopnikTwitch sub? The choice is yours. Ad will play in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Thank you, Ramko, for 100 bits. It's literally against Christian ethics to become wealthy at the expense of another. Exactly, which 95% of cases in capitalism is the case.
Something greater
Do you have
than
money?
the person.
Does he have money?
No.
Do you have money?
No, I don't have.
How much
I don't
money do you have?
But here's the thing. Why is money valuable?
Do you have money?
What is money valuable for?
I'm just asking. Do you have money?
I just said no. I'm broke. I'm a nobody.
No, but really, you are?
Yeah.
Is he really broke?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I have to know.
Dude, how much money's in your bank account right now? How big's your cock, bro? Let me know. Whip it out right now. Let me see it.
I have a family. I take care of an entire family. That takes a lot of money.
He's doing all right.
Okay.
It's okay.
This is the thing, you guys. If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good shape.
Why not?
If you don't have money, you can't say it's not all about money.
Yeah, why
But
not?
if he does have money, he can say that.
Why not?
He
Why
can.
can't you say that? Why must you have the thing
Because
before you hang on? Let me ask the question.
Because hypothetical
Let
is
me ask the
hypocritical.
All he had to do to make Wes Watson self-combust was provide a different way of life. And to a lughead like Wes,
Wonderful,
he
a
simply
new
can't
child
compute.
soldier,
But it's
I mean
not his fault
subscriber.
because he lacks the synapses in his brain to mathematically come to conclusions about other people in this world.
How in the
Exactly,
world
and
can
thank you very much. Meanwhile,
It's
in
inappropriate to
what the
ask
fuck?
somebody.
Pause. You can't. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, in Magdeburg. For being an alpha giga chat sub.
How come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about
You
it.
think that I haven't experienced?
Yeah, and you haven't experienced having a family, so you also can't speak about it. Like, man, I would debate, bro, the shit out of these cucks, man.
Wealth? Even poor people.
Keep up the good work, brother. Greetings from Germany. Danke schön, mein Freund. Danke schön.
Asking if you did.
Even poor people experience days of wealth.
I was
They
asking
can-
if you
even
did.
poor
I don't know
people-
who you are.
But even poor people experience days of wealth. And so the thing is
No,
it's
definitely not. Definitely
yeah,
not.
definitely so.
No, they don't. They don't.
Carnivore. That's serious. When I was second grade, a group of girls wouldn't let me play with them because they didn't have the exact same bag as they did. And these guys are operating on 8-year-old logic. Do not disrespect 8-year-olds like this, okay? Because 8-year-olds have an excuse. These fucking chuds do not.
Definitely not.
Definitely so.
I've lived the lowest lows and the highest highs.
He's figured it all out. You know, who am I to criticize a man with a Bugatti? I will bow down to you, my bald Lord and Savior.
What's the distinction? After you make X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you look at the studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies.
It does not
bro.
hugely improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck
Bro,
you are?
Why
Well,
don't
look
you
at.
even
Are
let
you
me
proud?
get-
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've
and
been.
tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ!
Because
look
I've been
at
to.
you.
Wonderful, a new child
Oh,
soldier. I
yeah.
mean subscriber.
Thank you to the OG Big G Jizz Army supporter Flap Attacks for the sub. Oh my God. Oh Lord.
Bro, you got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
I think I actually love him.
I take it back. The fucking comparison to 8-year-olds was absolutely on point. These are fucking children with money, man. These are just children with money. And I even doubt they have that much money. That's the fucking point. Thank you, Ramko, for 100 bits. Monke screamet Monke. Take off your shirt and show me how manly you are. You're just like, this monkey like a family. This other monkey really like a Rolls Royce. Who like a thing more? Yeah. Monkey off, monkey off, monkey off, monkey off, monkey off.
I think he's spitting right now.
No, they go to prison where they get fucking
Fuck yeah,
where they get
do.
raped up the ass.
You've never been to prison. Look,
That's
he's talking
what
about shit you
happens.
don't know.
They go to prison where they get raped.
Now you get your ass beat in front of
You think that that's
everybody.
better? You think that that's better?
Let's let him give his definition of success. And then
Having tits and 10-inch arms is what a man is, you guys.
Let's let him
Please
get his,
don't listen to that.
Wes, let's let him get his thing out and then
Tits.
We can have different
Tits. He's got tits.
opinions.
Yeah.
Titties.
Anyway, back to where I was at.
Boobs.
No.
But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
take
yes,
care of a
I do think that a rejection of materialism is
Wonderful,
something missing
a
in
new
society.
child
And I do think
soldier.
that
I
true
mean,
wealth
subscriber.
is the family, and I think that true wealth is having a wife, and true wealth.
Having sex
Thank you very much, Julio, for the 6-month sub. Thank you very, very, very much, my friend.
with a woman and furthering your bloodline is cringe. Bearing responsibility for other people and things beyond yourself is whack. Cargo vroom vroom.
House very big. House very big. I give 95K to bigger monkey. But I still think I'm bigger monkey. Car gold rims, brother. Ooga ooga booga.
That is what I think it is, and that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, there's my stud dad right there standing there.
If when you take your children to the beach, they don't point at you and say, would anybody here love to have sex with my dad? I continuously think about how my dad
Wonderful, a new
is
child
extremely
soldier.
attractive and I
subscriber.
would love to have sex with him. If you do not want to have sex with your dad, then I mean, I'm sorry, but your dad sucks, okay? Your dad sucks. If you would not like to give a sloppy toppy to your father, then that is not a true Chad, sorry, fucking Freudian slip right there, dad that you would like to support. Reject soy boy dads, embrace dads that you would like to have sweet, sweet sex with, okay? If half of your friends do not lust over your father, then your father is a cock bitch, okay? Thank you, Romka, for the 100 bits. These guys want to reject materialism, and that's why they are liberal cringe lords. Exactly, my friend. The other guy is cringe as well, but he's not like the same levels of cringe. But Loki, thank you for the resub for the 5th month. Yo, Greek gyro eating fan here. We're so fucked, right? Same. Though, junior supremacy, okay? I will give it to the goddamn Turks on that one.
He's trying to black pill him. He said post physique.
Real men want to fuck their own fathers. Yeah, like he comes out and he's like, I was inspired by my dad to become this Chad man. How? Because I always really wanted to fuck my own father, man. I wanted to suck my dad's dick so fucking much. And that is what inspired me to become this. Oh, fucking hell.
In front of the entire...
All of this always feels like just the dumbest people trying to reverse engineer Joe Rogan's success as though he is an aspirational type of existence rather than a dumb entertainer. Exactly, man, exactly.
Entire panel.
Look at that stud.
Do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
You have 2. So are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything
If
else
they
is
saw me
worth more
standing
than your
there, they'd be
children?
like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's, God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna attack.
Straight
You're gonna
up.
attack me.
All right.
Whoa!
All right.
Nobody's
Do you usually attack armed
is
men
how
in
I
Florida?
That's kind of cope too. Dan, you're
So, yeah, the other guy's cope as well, just different type of cope, and not the same level.
ground, goddammit. Muscles don't care about a bullet. What's crazy to me is I don't think Wes Watson has any formal training in any sort of combat sport, and he's walking around saying, I will smack you. And how I know that is he would have gotten checked a long time ago. But this is the quintessential archetype of an alpha male. All bark, no bite.
Check it out. you started coming at me about some other shit. This is what the show is supposed to be about. I like this shit. So personally,
So do
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
His children are Bugatti accessories. The only way you make your Bugatti fucking more bass if you have children in it. Direct quote from Jeffrey Epstein, by the way.
We can agree to disagree.
We can
move on, but Jesus Christ, men don't have tits. We can agree on that. Physically,
Men usually have.
But Jesus Christ, men don't have tits. We can.
Meanwhile, all the guys in the audience with tits be like, I went to the wrong fucking thing. Dude, look, it's just dudes, man. Not a single woman inside. Oh, no, there is a woman. Her boyfriend probably brought her or something. Jesus Christ, she must be hating her fucking existence right now. Ugh. Find me a non-chud here, man. Find me a non-chud. Find me a non-chud. I'm about to stop wearing chains because I don't want to look like these dudes, man. Jesus Christ. But this is real gold, motherfucker. Real Bentley gold, okay?
Can agree on that. Physically,
Men usually have hair. We can agree on that too.
He has
Physically.
crossed over.
He hit him with the Norwood. No! It's so over.
Physically,
Men usually have hair. We can agree on that too.
He has
Physically.
crossed.
Oh, it's a monkey off. It's a monkey off. It's a monkey off. It's the beta monkey versus the alpha giga Chad prison monkey. Oh, thank you, Romka, for 100 bits. I bet half of these dudes are complaining about the black protagonist in the new Assassin's Creed. No, they're complaining more about there's too many fat characters.
Over.
He hit him with the Norwood. No! It's so over. You're never coming back from that.
Being successful is effectively acting on your intentions, and I think I agree with Andrew that your intentions must align with something bigger than yourself. In my case, it's God, the Christian God, and so success.
Yeah, the Christian God, and you're fucking fresh and fit, my brother in Christ.
To me is fulfilling on your intentions but maintaining your ethical standards. And if you're doing that as a Christian, you are in fact procreating, and if you're not, you're doing something that fills in that gap that's equally effective.
Even if you don't agree with their Christian values, at least they have a fabric of morality and a sense of humility beyond themselves. Instead of this ooga booga caveman, I slay 420 XXX.
If you're not contributing to a moral society and you're only contributing to a consumerist society, a materialistic society, that's the only thing you're going to worship. And tons of people worship material things and flash it around, but it's vacant. It's spiritually vacant.
The reason why so many internet father figures are so materialistic is because materialism acts as a low IQ status signifier. And guess who buys all their bullshit? Yeah. Low IQ, stupid, dumb men.
Different guys on the
this
panel.
is why most people don't invite me places.
Guys. Different guys
Yeah,
on the
we
panel
can tell.
have different skill sets and different things that they bring to the table.
We could tell his tits are all jiggling. He's got like a half a fucking jelly donut.
Hey, bro, your toupee, it's still back there in the back. Go get it.
I shaved my head, you little fat.
Are you sure they...
He's fucking up so much by going down the fucking path of how you don't have hair. Literally doing the same thing that the fucking chud is doing. But I love it, man. I love the chud off.
All right. Go ahead, Miguel.
We're on Rumble, right?
Yeah. We're on YouTube, too.
Oh, well, fuck it. We do it live. We're not on mic chat. Live, baby. We do it live.
Wes Watson, free speech and no censorship? Based?
Bro, George Michael wants his pants back.
Dude, God damn, look at whose shirt is that? Dude, your fucking mom bought you that. Your aunt bought you that for fucking Thanksgiving dinner.
But he's literally wearing female clothing. How do you call yourself a man when you wear sheen skinny jeans?
God
fucking kill
God
yourself.
forbid you say watches are not important to this guy.
No, it's the thing about materialism. You
worship it,
guys,
dude. You
these
worship
guys
it.
must have grown up with money. The
Bro,
people
you
who didn't
worship
grow up with
material.
money chase money. The people who
Worship
didn't grow-
materialism.
Shut the fuck up.
You
don't
worship
know me,
it.
you fucking
I can
lame.
tell. I can tell by your speaking.
How the fuck do you think you
Listen
know me?
how reactive you are. If someone
Shave
says,
your goddamn arms.
see, you can't
bro.
deal with it. You can't deal with it.
So easy. And they say women are catty, bro. Yeah. you know, they say like women infight too much. And yeah. Literally the most normal conversation with 10 men that don't know each other.
What? You're losing an argument, and you say shave your goddamn arms. How is shaving your arms manlier than having arm hair?
I want to see these guys women. Let's put these trolls back here.
Women are not objects in our world because we're not materialists.
Guys, relax.
I've never heard more
Relax.
lies in my life.
Relax.
This is one thing I don't like.
Wes,
It's
come on,
people
man.
who lie.
Wes.
You're crying.
Wes, let's just
No,
move
no,
on.
no. We're gonna
move
continue.
on.
I
We're
can
gonna
make
move
you
on.
cry if you want.
We're gonna move.
all
We're
you
gonna
got.
move on. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
I could if you want.
We're gonna move on.
My brain has literally left chat, bro.
That's all you got is threats. And
We're gonna
brute
move on,
strength.
guys. We're gonna
I'm
move
a great
on.
speaker.
We're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna move on.
It's too busted. It's the hidden tech. The nerd voice will never not get me.
All right, what's success, right? Freeing the slaves. That's what it is. Mental slaves, man. That's what it is, man. And I gotta agree with Wes. You gotta help people out. Like you can't like.
Aliens, nuclear missiles, dropping on all continents, wiping everything out. Please. I know you motherfuckers up there have an internet connection. Now. Right now. Thank you.
Like, it's true. This whole thing, right? I came from no money. Immigrant, Mexican.
Exactly, Mehmet. You know aliens won't visit us because of that guy. Imagine aliens coming and they're like, we should check out their media before we go and we visit them. I don't know why my aliens are a mixture between Mexican and German. We must visit them. And then they get a fresh and fit thing. No. Their opinions make too much sense. We must go back to our planet and beat the shit out of our women. Thank you, Ramko, for 100 bits. If success is freeing the slaves, then Vladimir Ilyich Lenin is the single most successful motherfucker in the world. I know, but the reason I'm cringing is because this man is... He's probably freeing the slaves by telling them to invest in condos and turn one condo into 3 and 3 into 300 and then sell it to the beta cucks, rent it to the beta cucks, such as that guy who rents for $95K a month.
Bro is fumbling.
Or invest in Bitcoin, bro.
With the body, so shout out West.
Yeah. Big dogs.
We've helped a lot of people. We made millionaires, and that's changed people's lives. That's helped people get fucking families, and now people have the time to fucking go to the gym, do everything.
Fucking shit, bruh. Fucking work hard. Wake up early. Fucking no fap.
But it's about freeing your mind, and that's what I'm proud of, and that's what I do. That's what Charlie does. That's what most of these men on this panel do.
Freeing my mind so that I'm materially stable enough so I have time to go to the gym and then become swole. And once you become swole with money, you will be swole with happiness. Aliens, please, in the name of God.
Is we free people from their fucking mental slavery.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I'll tell you this: we got a bunch of masculine guys on the panel because they're arguing with each other. So that's how you know.
Yeah, man, it's so masculine, dude. It's like beautiful, man. They're going off at each other, and this is like a great clash of minds between the family guy and the Bugatti guy and the Bitcoin guy, and we like it's brilliant, man.
Those are some stuff, Mr. Steal Your Bitch.
Yeah,
and his buddy.
Keep shaving your body.
What I will say.
Why do I feel like Wes Watson shaves his entire body to be more optimal so that he can walk 3% faster than the average beta cuck?
What I will say is this. I think the definition of success is a combination of everything that everyone on the panel has said.
What defines success? I gotta say, as a high-value man, I'm tired of this 6-figure sub count. Please get Philion to 1 million. And if you want to join my elite ranks, you're gonna want to subscribe to the Third Eye Global Patreon.
Go join Fillion to 1 million or help Yugopnillion to 1.2 killion subs instead of watching the ad like a beta cuck in exactly 2 minutes. For only $5 a month or for free through Prime, please do consider becoming one or gifting one to someone else. Jesus, my brain is too melted from this. I can't even do a fucking good ad read, man. God fucking damn it. Oh. Let's continue with the chuds, man. Pseudo-intellectual Negro nonsense.
So.
Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. I did not know what I was reading it. I was reading it. I was just reading the title. I saw the word knee. Jesus Christ, I'm very so. What the? I didn't get the. I did not. I saw the title. I saw the fucking title, and I just saw the word knee, and I thought it was like going to be a name, like. Well, fuck me, man. I'm not even going to say it. It was in the name. I was trying to just read the name of the title. In no way. Where's the fucking gun? I guess you get the first offing on stream now. I apologize for the behavior of my stupidity. God fucking damn it, man. Okay.
So, I think I'm pretty smart despite that.
I did as well, despite what I just fucking did. Oh, God.
Have 3.5.
I'm sweating so hard right now.
Degrees, a bachelor's in mass communication, which is where the media experts.
FD Signifier, you motherfucker, man.
T stems from. A master's in English education, which is where the writing and teaching comes from, and a master's in sociology, which is where the politics and philosophy comes from. I'm also ABD for my doctorate in sociology. ABD stands for all but dissertation, meaning that I finished all of my classes, passed all of my comprehensive exams, and all I need to do is write a dissertation to officially be Dr. FD Signifier. Something I'll do eventually, I just do not know when. Aside from the specific academics, I also have an extensive background in so many of the things I tend to talk about. I spent 10 years as a public school teacher in a variety of environments, from relatively rural spaces to black urban ones. I constantly worked in mentoring young men. I've worked in health policy and research. I grew up a huge rap nerd. My cousin Edie, who did the beat for the first Manosphere video, that right there, he was a DJ, and growing up, I spent most of my weekends from middle school in his mother's basement.
Calm down, you're all over the place, my friend. Everything is going to be okay. It's normal for me to be all over the place because I really didn't want to fucking do that. Jesus fucking Christ. And that's going to be clipped out of existence, man. God, it was bound to happen.
With several of my cousins spinning records and having the mustiest hip-hop debates you could imagine. I'm pointing all this out to say that for the most part, if I'm talking about something in a video from one of the main topics that I tend to talk about, I have some pretty solid credentials behind whatever it is I'm saying. And then there's Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is an actor who's been around now, I think, for a minute. I feel like I first saw him in Dead Presidents,
Have you ever been
which
at one of those
was
parties?
like the mid-90s hood classic. He was also in The Best Men early on in his career. That's like 98, 99, maybe 2000. Early in his career, he was with Prince Harrison, All-Star, which if I was to be so bold to define it explicitly, that's like a black actor, but mostly only famous to black people because they're mostly seen in black media. We have a lot of love for him, but they'll never be real all-star status today. So, but that isn't the case for Terrence Howard, because in 2005 he starred in a movie that failed before its time in some ways, specifically as a black movie made for white people by a white director, House of Influence. I've never actually watched this movie because
That will happen to me in exactly probably 15 minutes. Let's end on some positive news.
Thailand is set to become the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. Senators passed a landmark marriage equality bill overwhelmingly by 130 to 4 to allow same-sex couples to tie the knot, with 18 abstentions, that is. The vote has been hailed as a victory by campaigners and members of the LGBTQ community, many of whom gathered at Parliament to welcome the vote. The law still needs assent from Thailand's king, after which it will come into force several months later. And we can now talk to Machaporn In. She's a marriage equality advocate from Thailand and founder of Sangsang Anakot Yawachon Foundation, an organization that works to advance the rights of LGBTQ plus women and girls. Macha, welcome to DW. You've been fighting for equal rights for years. How do you feel after this huge victory for your movement?
Thank you, Nicole. I really happy that finally we are win and love win. I have been fighting for almost 10 years with my whole family, included my wife and my daughters. And we cannot achieve this without all the strong support from our ally, especially our community who are stand in front of this marriage equality movement.
What will this mean in practical day-to-day terms for the LGBTQ community in Thailand?
I think we have been struggle for almost 2 decades to advancing right to family for LGBTIQ people. We lost some of our colleagues along the way, but we have been involving with a lot of young activists. This marriage equality achievement means so much for our community, especially LGBTIQ young people who are influence of democracy movement, and myself at the Rainbow Family
Thailand, one step closer to gay space communism.
Advocate. This means so much for our family, but it's not limited only Thailand. ASEAN, Thailand is the first country. Asia, we are the 3rd country. But look around globally, we still need to fight a lot for many, many parts of the world. When Thailand possible, the other parts of the world also possible. That is the reason why this is our LGBTIQ movement achievement. It's not only Thailand.
And today's decision in Thailand has prompted you to make a pretty big announcement yourself, hasn't it? Tell us about your plans to get married yourself soon.
We have been fighting for marriage equality, and when it's achievement, I announced today that on the 23rd of November this year, we are going to marriage in Northern Thailand, and all of you are welcome to join our celebration of marriage equality, and yes, our marriage as well.
Random dudes start showing up at the wedding ceremony. I'm like, this wedding will cost us $1 million.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. We'll try to be there in November.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all of your support, and thank for my community LGBTIQ who are in Thailand and in the parliament today. Thank you.
Based.
And our correspondent, Sharon Margaret Sumulang, is following the story for us from Jakarta. Sharon, this is a truly historic moment, not just for Thailand, but really for the entire region. What does this law mean in practical terms?
Yeah, so in the practical terms, the key element of this law is it makes men and women equal to marry, and it changes the term like husband and wife, men and women to more gender-neutral terms such as individuals and spouse. But still, the term father and mother is in place in the law, and activists fear that there could be stigmatization that people would ask, like, who's the father, who's the mother, and that could also limit the parental rights of the LGBTQ plus couples. But the bill really gives, obviously, the rights to adoption, to inherit property, and also to make health-related decisions for the couples.
A huge step for the LGBTQ community. Thailand is the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. What's different about the case of Thailand?
Yeah, Thailand has always been known as one of Asia's most gay-friendly destination. It's famous for its LGBTQ plus tourism, and also people can be openly gay in Thailand and feel generally accepted and safe.
Yeah, that's why I was honestly confused. I was stereotyping Thailand as like a very, very safe place for gay people, and I was like, the fuck, you know, this hasn't happened until 2024.
Activists, the LGBTQ scene has also been very active with the advocacy and with campaigns. And related to the bill, all the major political parties has also in support of passing the bill. Based on survey 2, majority of Thai public is also in support for marriage equality. And that's what makes Thailand different and making it the first in Southeast Asia and the third in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. So definitely hundreds or many couples have been waiting for this day.
You mentioned it there. Only 3 countries in all of Asia recognize same-sex marriage at this point. Can we expect other countries to follow suit?
Yeah, while Thailand has been an outlier and being the more progressive country compared to other countries in Southeast Asia, we also know, like in Malaysia, in Brunei, and even in Indonesia, LGBTQ plus topic is still a very extremely taboo to talk about. Even in some countries, it's illegal, and same-sex couples can be criminalized for being so. So because of its strong traditional and religious values in the region, we can say that for some countries, legalizing same-sex marriages is still nowhere near that.
As DW correspondent Sharon Sumolong, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you very much to all the streamers. One more time, please never, absolutely never say the N-word. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my fucking life. But, dude, it started literally with the word, God fucking damn it, man. I'm still thinking about that. And to counterbalance that in a memey way, as the ultimate liberal that I am, as we finish today's stream, I'm going to raid a black comrade that is streaming right now. I'm literally doing a meme on it. I mean, I raid that. I am dunking on myself, obviously, but Jesus fucking Christ, I did fucking horrible. Yeah. So, yeah, go say hi to Sean. Thank you very much for joining today's stream, and I will see you tomorrow, 1 hour before when we started today's stream. And if I don't see you, then I'm banned, which would really suck to get banned for that. But yeah, what the fuck? But I'm ending it with an edgy thing of being the ultimate liberal that apologizes for saying what I said by raiding a black dude. So go and say hi, and don't tell them a guy who says the N-word on stream is sending you over. I'm going to go and jump out of a window now. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much to my mods, especially thank you to all the subs. Join the Discord channel, 4,000 beautiful people and growing. There you have the closest access to knowing whenever I stream, and see you literally tomorrow. Love you all. Let's hopefully now wake up in the gulag tomorrow. Bye, bye, bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Ciao.